Microsoft Entra ID represents a significant evolution in identity and access management. As a cloud-based service, it forms an integral part of Microsoft's platform as a service offering. This innovative solution provides organizations with a robust framework for managing secure access to cloud resources. Unlike traditional Active Directory domain services, Microsoft Entra ID operates entirely in the cloud. This cloud-native approach brings numerous advantages, including reduced infrastructure management overhead and enhanced scalability. Moreover, it offers a suite of features that extend beyond the capabilities of its on-premises counterpart. One of the key strengths of Microsoft Entra ID lies in its ability to provide secure access to a wide array of cloud resources. Whether it's Azure services, Microsoft 365 applications, or third-party SaaS solutions, Microsoft Entra ID serves as a central hub for identity management and access control. Furthermore, Microsoft Entra ID introduces advanced features that address modern security challenges. These include multi-factor authentication, identity protection, and self-service password reset capabilities. Such enhancements significantly bolster an organization's security posture in the face of evolving cyber threats. Microsoft Entra ID offers a rich set of features designed to enhance security and streamline identity management. Let's explore some of these key capabilities that set it apart from traditional directory services. First and foremost, Single Sign-On (SSO) for cloud applications stands out as a cornerstone feature. SSO allows users to access multiple applications with a single set of credentials, significantly improving user experience and reducing password fatigue. This capability extends to a vast array of cloud-based SaaS applications, making it easier for organizations to manage access across their entire software ecosystem. Multi-factor authentication (MFA) adds an extra layer of security to the authentication process. By requiring users to provide additional verification beyond just a password, MFA dramatically reduces the risk of unauthorized access, even if passwords are compromised. This feature has become increasingly crucial in today's threat landscape. Self-service password reset empowers users to regain access to their accounts without IT intervention. This not only enhances user productivity, but also reduces the workload on IT support teams. Users can securely reset their passwords using predefined authentication methods, ensuring both convenience and security. Identity protection leverages machine learning algorithms to detect and mitigate potential identity-based risks. This proactive approach helps organizations identify and address vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by malicious actors. Conditional access provides granular control over who can access what resources and under what conditions. This feature allows organizations to enforce security policies based on various factors such as user location, device health, and risk level. Lastly, hybrid identity management bridges the gap between on-premises Active Directory and cloud-based services. This feature enables organizations to extend their existing identity infrastructure to the cloud, providing a seamless experience for users across both environments. These features collectively form a robust identity and access management solution, empowering organizations to navigate the complexities of modern IT environments with confidence and security. Microsoft Entra ID introduces a unique approach to directory services with its multi-tenant design. This architecture sets it apart from traditional Active Directory domain services, ensuring robust isolation between individual directory instances. The scale of this system is truly impressive, hosting over 1 million directory services instances and processing billions of authentication requests weekly. In the context of Microsoft Entra ID, a tenant typically represents an organization that has subscribed to a Microsoft cloud service, such as Microsoft 365, Intune, or Azure. However, from a technical standpoint, each tenant is an individual Microsoft Entra instance. This distinction is important as it allows for flexibility in managing and testing Microsoft Entra functionality across multiple tenants without cross-impact. A crucial aspect of Microsoft Entra tenants is their relationship with Azure subscriptions. Each Azure subscription must be associated with one, and only one, Microsoft Entra tenant at any given time. This association is fundamental as it enables the granting of permissions to Azure resources via role-based access control to users, groups, and applications within that specific Microsoft Entra tenant. It's worth noting that while an Azure subscription can only be associated with one tenant, the reverse is not true. A single Microsoft Entra tenant can be associated with multiple Azure subscriptions. This feature provides a powerful mechanism for managing users, groups, and applications across multiple Azure subscriptions, offering enhanced flexibility and resource management. Every Microsoft Entra tenant is assigned a default domain name system, DNS domain name. This name consists of a unique prefix, derived either from the name of the Microsoft account used to create the Azure subscription or explicitly provided during tenant creation, followed by the .onmicrosoft.com suffix. However, organizations aren't limited to this default domain. It's common and often beneficial to add at least one custom domain name to the Microsoft Entra tenant, utilizing the DNS domain namespace owned by the organization. The Microsoft Entra tenant serves a dual purpose. First, it acts as a security boundary, ensuring that resources and identities within one tenant are isolated from others. Second, it functions as a container for Microsoft Entra objects such as users, groups, and applications. This containerization allows for efficient management and organization of identity-related resources. Understanding the concept and structure of Microsoft Entra tenants is crucial for effective identity and access management in Azure and other Microsoft cloud services. It forms the foundation upon which robust, scalable, and secure cloud solutions are built. The Microsoft Entra schema represents a significant departure from traditional Active Directory domain services, ADDS, in several key aspects. This streamlined approach to identity management reflects the evolving needs of cloud-based environments and modern IT practices. One of the most notable differences is the reduction in object types compared to ADDS. The Microsoft Entra schema omits the familiar computer class, replacing it with a more versatile device class. This change signifies a shift in how devices are managed and integrated into the identity ecosystem. The process of joining devices to Microsoft Entra ID differs considerably from the traditional method of joining computers to ADDS, reflecting the unique requirements of cloud-based identity management. Flexibility is a core feature of the Microsoft Entra schema. It's designed to be easily extensible, allowing organizations to adapt the schema to their specific needs. Importantly, these extensions are fully reversible, providing a level of agility that's crucial in today's rapidly changing IT landscapes. The absence of the organizational unit, OU class in Microsoft Entra ID, marks another significant departure from ADDS. In traditional environments, OUs are frequently used to create hierarchical structures for organizing objects and applying group policy. However, this omission doesn't represent a limitation. Instead, it reflects a shift towards more flexible organizational methods. In Microsoft Entra ID, equivalent arrangements can be achieved by organizing objects based on their group membership, offering a different but equally effective approach to resource management. Application representation in Microsoft Entra ID is handled through two distinct classes, Application and Service Principal. This separation allows for a more nuanced approach to application management across multiple tenants. The application class contains the core definition of an application, while the Service Principal class represents its instance within a specific Microsoft Entra tenant. This model facilitates the use of applications across multiple tenants while maintaining tenant-specific configurations. It's important to note that the streamlined schema of Microsoft Entra ID means that traditional management techniques such as group policy objects, GPOs, are not applicable. Instead, Microsoft Entra ID and its associated services introduce the concept of modern management. This approach leverages the strengths of cloud-based services to provide more agile and scalable management solutions. The primary strengths of Microsoft Entra ID lie in its core directory services. These include storing and publishing user, device, and application data, as well as handling authentication and authorization for these entities. The effectiveness of this approach is evident in the successful deployments of major cloud services like Microsoft 365, which rely on Microsoft Entra ID as their identity provider. While Microsoft Entra ID and Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, both serve as identity management solutions, they differ significantly in their design, functionality, and use cases. Understanding these differences is crucial for organizations navigating the transition from traditional on-premises environments to cloud-based infrastructures. ADDS, a cornerstone of Windows Server environments, is a comprehensive directory service with a rich feature set developed over decades. It employs a hierarchical structure based on the X500 standard, which allows for complex organizational structures. This hierarchical nature is reflected in its use of organizational units, OUs, and group policy objects, now to GPOs, for management, providing granular control over user and computer settings. In contrast, Microsoft Entra ID adopts a flat structure, eschewing the traditional OU hierarchy. This design choice reflects the more fluid nature of cloud environments and modern organizational structures. Instead of OUs and GPOs, Microsoft Entra ID relies on groups and Azure AD policies for management, offering a different but equally powerful approach to resource organization and control. The methods for locating resources also differ between the two systems. ADDS leverages the Domain Name System, DNS, for locating resources such as domain controllers. This approach is deeply integrated with traditional network architectures. Microsoft Entra ID, being cloud-native, uses HTTP/HTTPS REST APIs for resource location and management, aligning with modern web-based architectures. Authentication protocols represent another area of divergence. ADDS primarily uses the Kerberos protocol for authentication, a staple in Windows environments known for its security and efficiency in local networks. Microsoft Entra ID, designed for cloud and web-based applications, supports a broader range of protocols including SAML, OAuth, and OpenID Connect. This diversity allows for more flexible authentication scenarios, particularly in multi-cloud and hybrid environments. One notable difference is the treatment of computer objects. ADDS includes computer objects representing physical or virtual machines joined to the domain. This concept is central to traditional Windows network management. Microsoft Entra ID, however, doesn't use computer objects in the same way. Instead, it employs device objects, reflecting a more diverse ecosystem of endpoints, including mobile devices and non-Windows systems. It's important to note that ADDS is just one component of the Windows Active Directory suite, which includes other services like Active Directory Certificate Services, ADCS, and Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS. Microsoft Entra ID, while not offering direct equivalents to all these services, provides cloud-native alternatives or integrations that address similar needs in cloud environments. Microsoft Entra ID represents a paradigm shift in identity management designed specifically for the cloud era. While it shares some similarities with traditional Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, its unique characteristics set it apart as a modern, Internet-centric identity solution. First and foremost, Microsoft Entra ID is built for Internet-based applications. It operates primarily over HTTP, port 80, and HTTPS, port 443, making it inherently suited for cloud and web-based services. This design choice reflects the shift towards cloud-native applications and services, where traditional network boundaries are less relevant. One of the key features of Microsoft Entra ID is its multi-tenant architecture. This design allows for efficient isolation between directory instances, making it possible to host multiple organizations, directories within a single service while maintaining strict security boundaries. This multi-tenancy is crucial for cloud service providers and large enterprises managing multiple distinct identity environments. Unlike ADDS, which uses a hierarchical structure with organizational units, OUs, and group policy objects, GPOs, Microsoft Entra ID adopts a flat structure for users and groups. This simplification aligns with modern organizational needs, offering flexibility in how identities are managed and organized. While this might seem like a limitation at first, it often leads to more straightforward and agile identity management practices. In terms of querying and interacting with the directory, Microsoft Entra ID diverges significantly from ADDS. It doesn't support LDAP queries, which are common in traditional Active Directory environments. Instead, Microsoft Entra ID uses a REST API over HTTP and HTTPS. This API-centric approach makes it easier to integrate with modern applications and services, aligning with current development practices and cloud-native architectures. Authentication in Microsoft Entra ID also differs from ADDS. While ADDS primarily relies on Kerberos, Microsoft Entra ID supports a range of modern protocols such as SAML, WS Federation, and OpenID Connect for authentication. This diversity allows for more flexible authentication scenarios, particularly in multi-cloud and hybrid environments. For authorization, Microsoft Entra ID uses OAuth, a widely adopted protocol that's well suited for web and mobile applications. Another significant feature of Microsoft Entra ID is its built-in federation services. This capability allows for seamless integration with various third-party services and identity providers. Many popular services, including social media platforms like Facebook, are federated with and trust Microsoft Entra ID. This federation capability simplifies the process of enabling single sign-on across a diverse ecosystem of applications and services. It's crucial to understand that deploying Microsoft Entra ID is fundamentally different from setting up an Active Directory domain controller. Microsoft Entra ID has emerged as a cornerstone of cloud-based identity and access management, particularly for organizations leveraging Microsoft's suite of cloud services. Its role as a directory service for cloud applications addresses the growing need for unified, secure, and efficient identity management in increasingly complex digital environments. In the realm of cloud services, authentication and authorization are paramount. Traditionally, each cloud service would create its own directory for these purposes, leading to a fragmented identity landscape within organizations. Microsoft Entra ID solves this problem by providing a single, unified identity service that spans across multiple Microsoft cloud offerings, including Microsoft 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and Intune. This consolidation simplifies identity management, reduces administrative overhead, and enhances security by centralizing control. One of the key strengths of Microsoft Entra ID is its ability to provide centralized authentication and authorization for applications hosted in Azure. This capability extends beyond just Microsoft services, allowing developers to integrate various identity providers or on-premises Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, into their Azure-based applications. This flexibility is crucial for organizations with complex identity ecosystems or those in the process of transitioning to the cloud. Microsoft Entra ID's support for single sign-on, SSO, is a game-changer for user experience and security. It enables users to access a wide range of applications and services, including popular platforms like Facebook, Google Services, and Yahoo. as well as Microsoft Cloud services, using a single set of credentials. This not only enhances user convenience, but also improves security by reducing the number of credentials users need to manage. While implementing Microsoft Entra ID support for custom applications can be complex, Microsoft has made significant strides in simplifying this process. The Azure portal and recent versions of Visual Studio provide streamlined tools and interfaces for configuring Microsoft Entra authentication. This simplification makes it more accessible for developers to integrate robust identity management into their applications. A particularly noteworthy feature is the ability to enable Microsoft Entra authentication for web apps in Azure App Service directly from the Azure portal. Through the authorization blade, administrators can easily configure authentication settings, specifying which Microsoft Entra tenant should be used for user authentication. This granular control allows organizations to ensure that only users with accounts in the designated directory can access specific websites or applications. Furthermore, the flexibility of Microsoft Entra ID extends to deployment scenarios. Organizations can apply different authentication settings to individual deployment slots within their Azure environments. Microsoft Entra ID Premium, available in P1 and P2 tiers, offers enhanced functionality compared to the free and Office 365 editions. These premium versions require additional per-user licensing, but provide advanced features crucial for organizations with complex identity management needs. Let's explore the features of each tier and their significance in modern IT environments. Microsoft Entra ID P1 includes a robust set of features that significantly enhance an organization's identity and access management capabilities. Self-service group management simplifies administration by allowing users to create and manage groups, request membership, and enable group owners to approve requests. This feature reduces IT overhead and empowers users to manage their collaborative spaces effectively. Advanced security reports and alerts leverage machine learning to provide detailed insights into access patterns and potential security threats. These reports are invaluable for maintaining a strong security posture and responding quickly to anomalies. Full multi-factor authentication (MFA) support extends to on-premises applications via VPN, Radius, Azure, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and third-party Microsoft Entra Gallery applications. This comprehensive MFA coverage significantly enhances security across an organization's application landscape. Microsoft Identity Manager (MIAM) licensing facilitates hybrid identity solutions by integrating multiple on-premises authentication stores with Microsoft Entra ID. This integration is crucial for organizations maintaining both on-premises and cloud-based applications. An enterprise SLA of 99.9% ensures high availability of the service, critical for businesses relying on Microsoft Entra ID for their operations. Password reset with writeback allows self-service password resets to follow the on-premises Active Directory password policy, maintaining consistency across environments. Cloud App Discovery helps organizations identify frequently used cloud-based applications, providing valuable insights for IT management and security teams. Conditional access based on device, group, or location allows for fine-grained control over resource access, enhancing security without compromising user productivity. Microsoft Entra Connect Health provides operational insights into Microsoft Entra ID, helping IT teams monitor and maintain the health of their identity infrastructure. Microsoft Entra ID P2 includes all the features of P1 and adds two pivotal capabilities. Microsoft Entra ID Protection offers enhanced monitoring and protection for user accounts. It allows for the definition of user risk policies and sign-in policies, and provides tools for reviewing user behavior and flagging accounts at risk. This feature is crucial for organizations facing advanced security threats. Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management introduces additional security layers for privileged users like administrators. Microsoft Entra Domain Services represents a significant evolution in cloud-based identity and access management, offering a compelling alternative to traditional on-premises Active Directory Domain Services (ADDS) deployments. This service, available as part of the Microsoft Entra ID P1 or P2 tier, addresses a critical need for organizations migrating line of business (LOB) applications to the cloud while maintaining familiar authentication and management capabilities. Traditionally, organizations moving LOB applications to Azure face challenges in providing authentication services. Common solutions included implementing site-to-site VPNs or deploying replica domain controllers in Azure, both of which could incur additional costs and administrative overhead. Microsoft Entra Domain Services offers a more streamlined approach by providing domain services such as group policy management, domain joining, and Kerberos authentication directly within the Microsoft Entra tenant. One of the key strengths of Microsoft Entra Domain Services is its compatibility with locally deployed ADDS. When used in conjunction with Microsoft Entra Connect, it allows users to utilize their organizational credentials seamlessly across both on-premises ADDS and Microsoft Entra Domain Services. This hybrid capability provides a smooth transition path for organizations moving towards cloud-based infrastructure. Interestingly, Microsoft Entra Domain Services isn't limited to hybrid scenarios. Organizations can choose to use it as a cloud-only service, enabling ADDS-like functionality without deploying any domain controllers, either on-premises or in the cloud. This flexibility is particularly beneficial for cloud-native organizations or those looking to minimize their on-premises infrastructure. The benefits of Microsoft Entra Domain Services are numerous. Reduced administrative burden. There's no need to manage, update, or monitor domain controllers. Simplified replication. Administrators don't need to deploy and manage Active Directory replication. Enhanced security. The service eliminates the need for domain admins or enterprise admins groups for domains managed by Microsoft Entra ID. However, it's important to note some limitations of the service. Limited object support. Only the base computer Active Directory object is supported. Schema restrictions. It's not possible to extend the schema for the Microsoft Entra Domain Services domain. Flat OU structure. The organizational unit, OU structure, is flat, and nested OUs aren't currently supported. Group policy limitations. There's a built-in group policy object, GPO, for computer and user accounts, but it's not possible to target OUs with built-in GPOs or use advanced filtering techniques. Despite these limitations, Microsoft Entra Domain Services provides a powerful platform for migrating applications that rely on LDAP, NTLM, or Kerberos protocols from on-premises infrastructure to the cloud. Let's review the correct answers for the knowledge check questions and explain why they are correct. What is a benefit of using Microsoft Entra ID versus Active Directory AD? The correct answer is B. Microsoft Entra ID is a cloud-based identity solution. Explanation. This is a key distinguishing feature of Microsoft Entra ID. Unlike traditional Active Directory, which is primarily designed for on-premises environments, Microsoft Entra ID is built from the ground up as a cloud-based identity and access management service. This cloud-native design allows for greater flexibility, scalability, and integration with modern cloud applications and services. It's worth noting why the other options are incorrect. A. Microsoft Entra ID does not primarily use Kerberos authentication. It uses protocols more suited to cloud environments such as SAML, OAuth, and OpenID Connect. C. Microsoft Entra ID does not support LDAP queries. Instead, it uses REST APIs over HTTP, HTTPS for querying and management. In addition to the free features of Microsoft Entra ID, what is the minimum premium version licensing needed to implement risk-based sign-ins? The correct answer is B. Microsoft Entra ID P2 explanation. Risk-based sign-ins are part of the advanced security features provided by Microsoft Entra ID protection, which is only available in the P2 tier. This feature uses machine learning algorithms to detect and respond to unusual sign-in behaviors, adding an extra layer of security to your identity management. Here's why the other options are incorrect. A. Office 365 licenses include some Microsoft Entra ID features, but not the advanced security features like risk-based sign-ins. C. While Microsoft Entra ID P1 offers many premium features, it does not include Microsoft Entra ID protection, which is necessary for risk-based sign-ins. These questions highlight important distinctions between Microsoft Entra ID and traditional Active Directory, as well as the differences between various Microsoft Entra ID licensing tiers. Understanding these differences is crucial for effectively planning and implementing identity and access management solutions in modern, cloud-centric environments. Azure administration encompasses a wide range of responsibilities that are crucial for maintaining a robust and efficient cloud infrastructure. At its core, this role involves managing Azure resources and services, which form the backbone of any cloud-based solution. From virtual machines to databases, storage accounts to networking components, Azure administrators must be adept at deploying, configuring, and optimizing these resources to meet organizational needs. Another vital aspect of Azure administration is the implementation and monitoring of cloud infrastructure. This involves setting up and maintaining the underlying framework that supports your applications and services. Effective monitoring ensures that your Azure environment operates smoothly, with minimal downtime and optimal performance. Configuring virtual networks and storage solutions is also a key responsibility. Azure administrators must design and implement network architectures that provide secure and efficient communication between resources. Additionally, they need to set up and manage various storage options to ensure data is stored reliably and can be accessed quickly when needed. Last but certainly not least, ensuring security and compliance in the cloud environment is paramount. Azure administrators must implement robust security measures, manage access controls, and ensure that the organization's cloud resources adhere to relevant regulatory requirements and industry standards. Effectively managing your Azure resources is key to maintaining an efficient and cost-effective cloud environment. One of the fundamental concepts in Azure Resource Management is the use of resource groups. Think of resource groups as containers that help you organize related resources for an application or project. By grouping resources together, you can manage them as a single unit, making it easier to apply consistent policies, monitor costs, and control access. Azure Resource Manager templates play a vital role in streamlining the deployment and management of your resources. These JSON files define the infrastructure and configuration of your Azure solution, allowing you to deploy complex environments consistently and repeatedly. By using templates, you can version your infrastructure as code, ensuring that your deployments are reproducible and reducing the risk of configuration errors. Applying tags to your Azure resources is another powerful management technique. Tags are name-value pairs that you can assign to resources and resource groups. They serve multiple purposes, from organizing resources for billing and reporting to enforcing policies across your Azure environment. For instance, you might use tags to identify resources by department, project, or environment type. Lastly, monitoring and optimizing resource usage is crucial for maintaining a healthy Azure environment. Azure provides various tools and services to help you track resource utilization, performance metrics, and costs. By regularly reviewing this information, you can identify opportunities to optimize your resource allocation, potentially reducing costs and improving performance. Effective user account management is crucial for maintaining a secure and efficient Azure environment. First, let's discuss adding cloud identity user accounts. Microsoft Entra ID offers multiple methods for creating these accounts. The Azure portal is a common and user-friendly approach, but you can also use the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Microsoft Intune Admin Console, or the Azure CLI. This flexibility allows administrators to choose the most convenient method for their workflow. When creating a new user account, you'll need to provide a display name and an associated user account name. For instance, you might create an account with the display name Aaron Sawyer Miller and the associated user account name asawmilicontoso.com. These identifiers help maintain a clear and organized user directory. Configuring user profile data is another important aspect of account management. The user account profile stores various information and settings that describe the user. While some of this data, like the display name and account name, can only be modified by administrators, other details can be managed by the users themselves. This approach allows for a balance between organizational control and user flexibility. Implementing account restore options is a crucial consideration in your account management strategy. Microsoft Entra ID allows you to restore deleted accounts for up to 30 days after removal. This feature provides a safety net in case of accidental deletions or other unforeseen circumstances. However, it's important to note that after the 30-day period, account restoration becomes impossible. Therefore, it's essential to have clear processes in place for account deletion and potential restoration. Lastly, collecting and analyzing account data can provide valuable insights for improving your Azure infrastructure. Microsoft Entra ID allows you to gather sign-in and audit log information for user accounts. This data can help you identify usage patterns, potential security issues, and opportunities for optimization. Let's explore the efficient process of managing bulk user account operations in Microsoft Entra ID. This feature is particularly useful for organizations that need to create or delete multiple user accounts simultaneously. Microsoft Entra ID supports several bulk operations, including bulk creation and deletion of user accounts. The Azure portal is the most common platform for these operations, offering a user-friendly interface. For those who prefer scripting, Azure PowerShell provides an alternative method for bulk upload of user accounts. To perform bulk operations, administrators use a comma-separated values (CSV) template. This template contains all the necessary data for creating or deleting user accounts. You can download these templates directly from the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, ensuring you have the correct format for your bulk operations. When implementing bulk user account creation, consider establishing naming conventions for your organization. A consistent approach to user account names, display names, and aliases can significantly simplify the bulk create process. For instance, you might adopt a convention where the user account name begins with the user's last name, followed by a period and their first name, such as sawyermiller@arancontoso.com. This consistency reduces the areas of uniqueness in your CSV file, making it easier to manage and less prone to errors. Managing initial passwords is another crucial aspect of bulk user account creation. It's important to implement a secure method for generating and communicating initial passwords to new users. You might consider generating random passwords and securely emailing them to new users or their managers. Whatever method you choose, ensure it aligns with your organization's security policies. When performing bulk operations, errors can occur. The Azure portal provides a bulk operation results page where you can download a results file containing reasons for any errors. Common issues might include attempting to create accounts that already exist or having duplicate entries in your CSV file. To minimize errors and simplify troubleshooting, consider uploading and processing smaller groups of user accounts at a time. Remember, only global administrators or user administrators have the necessary privileges to create and delete user accounts in the Azure portal. This restriction helps maintain security and control over your Microsoft Entra ID environment. Let's focus on a fundamental aspect of identity management: group accounts. Microsoft Entra ID offers two distinct types of group accounts, each serving specific purposes in your organization's identity and access management strategy. First, we have security groups. These are primarily used to manage member and computer access to shared resources for a group of users. Think of security groups as a powerful tool for streamlining your access control policies. Instead of assigning permissions to individual users, you can create a security group for a specific security policy and apply the same permissions to all members of that group. This approach not only saves time but also ensures consistency in your access control implementation. On the other hand, Microsoft 365 groups are designed with collaboration in mind. These groups provide a shared workspace for team members, offering access to a common mailbox, calendar, files, SharePoint site, and more. Microsoft 365 groups are particularly useful when you need to facilitate teamwork and information sharing among a specific set of users. It's important to note some key characteristics of these group types. Security groups can only be implemented by a Microsoft Entra administrator, providing a centralized control over security policies. In contrast, both normal users and Microsoft Entra admins can create and manage Microsoft 365 groups, offering more flexibility for team-based collaboration. Another significant feature is that Microsoft 365 groups allow you to add guest users from outside your Microsoft Entra organization. This capability is invaluable for projects involving external collaborators or partners. Now that we've covered the types of group accounts in Microsoft Entra ID, let's explore the different ways you can assign member access rights within these groups. Understanding these options is crucial for effectively managing your organization's identity and access control strategy. The first method is the assigned access right. This is the most straightforward approach, where you add specific users as members of a group. Each user in an assigned group can have unique permissions, allowing for granular control over access rights. This method is ideal when you need to manage a static set of users with well-defined access requirements. Next, we have dynamic user access rights. This method utilizes dynamic membership rules to automatically add and remove group members based on user attributes. When a user's attributes change, Azure reviews the dynamic group rules for the directory. If the user's attributes meet the rule requirements, they're automatically added to the group. Conversely, if their attributes no longer meet the requirements, they're removed. This approach is particularly useful for large organizations with frequently changing user roles or attributes. For security groups, there's an additional option: dynamic device access rights. Similar to dynamic user rights, this method applies dynamic group rules to automatically add and remove devices in security groups. Based on device attributes, this feature is invaluable for managing access control in environments with a large number of devices or frequent device changes. As you consider which access rights to apply to your groups, think about the specific needs of your organization. Ask yourself, how often do user roles change? Do you need to manage a large number of devices? Is manual group management feasible, or would automated attribute-based management be more efficient? Dynamic membership rules can significantly reduce administrative overhead, especially in large or rapidly changing environments. However, they require careful planning and ongoing maintenance of user and device attributes to ensure accurate group membership. On the other hand, assigned access rights offer more direct control and may be preferable in smaller organizations or for groups with stable membership. As we delve deeper into the management of identities and governance in Azure, it's crucial to consider strategies for comprehensive management of your Microsoft Entra infrastructure. One powerful tool at your disposal is the concept of administrative units. These units allow you to restrict administrative scope, which can be particularly beneficial for organizations with many independent divisions. Let's explore this concept through the lens of a large university. Imagine a sprawling campus composed of several distinct schools: business, engineering, and medicine. Each of these schools operates with a degree of autonomy, yet they all fall under the umbrella of the university as a whole. This complex structure presents unique challenges in terms of network management, resource allocation, and access control. The university's infrastructure is diverse and multifaceted. Administrative offices, academic buildings, social spaces, and student dormitories all require different levels of access and security. For instance, each business office maintains its own internal network for resources like servers, printers, and fax machines. This separation is crucial for maintaining the confidentiality and integrity of administrative data. In contrast, academic buildings are connected to the broader university network, allowing both instructors and students to access their accounts from various locations on campus. This same network extends to dormitories and social buildings, ensuring that students and deans have consistent access to necessary resources. Adding another layer of complexity, the university must also accommodate guest users who require internet access via the university network. This necessitates a careful balance between accessibility and security. To manage this intricate web of networks and access requirements, the university relies on a team of IT administrators. These professionals work collaboratively to control resource access, manage user accounts, and set policies across the institution. However, not all admins are created equal. Some have greater privileges than others, depending on the scope of their responsibilities. This is where administrative units come into play. By implementing administrative units, the university can effectively delegate responsibilities based on its organizational structure. For example, each school, business, engineering, medicine could be designated as a separate administrative unit. This allows for more granular control over who can manage resources and users within each school. Administrators assigned to a specific school's administrative unit would have the authority to manage users, set policies, and control access within their designated area. This approach not only streamlines management processes, but also enhances security by limiting the scope of administrative access. As we move forward with the implementation of administrative units, AUs, in Microsoft Entra ID, it's crucial to consider several key factors that will influence your strategy. Let's explore these considerations in detail, using our university scenario as a practical example. First, let's consider how a central admin role can leverage administrative units to support the engineering department. The process involves several steps. Create a specific role with administrative permissions that apply only to Microsoft Entra users within the engineering department's administrative unit. Establish an administrative unit dedicated to the engineering department. Populate this AU with the appropriate engineering department students, staff, and resources. Add the engineering department's IT team to the role, along with its defined scope. This approach allows for targeted management of the engineering department's resources while maintaining the overall security and structure of the university's Microsoft Entra environment. Now let's examine the key considerations for working with administrative units. Management tools. When implementing AUs, you have several options for management. The Azure portal provides a user-friendly interface for creating and managing AUs. For more advanced or automated management, you can utilize PowerShell CMDlets and scripts. Additionally, Microsoft Graph offers powerful capabilities for programmatic management of AUs. Consider your team's expertise and the complexity of your AU structure when choosing your management tools. Role requirements in the Azure portal. It's crucial to plan your AU strategy with role privileges in mind. In the Azure portal, Only users with Global Administrator or Privileged Role Administrator roles can manage administrative units. This restriction ensures that AU management is limited to users with the highest level of trust and responsibility within your organization. Make sure you have team members with these roles available for AU management tasks. Scope of administrative units. Understanding the scope of AUs is vital. The scope of an administrative unit applies only to management permissions. This means that members and admins of an AU can exercise their default user permissions to browse other users, groups, or resources outside of their administrative unit. For example, an engineering department admin could still view user profiles from the business department, but couldn't make changes to them. This scope limitation helps maintain a balance between departmental autonomy and overall organizational visibility. In our university scenario, these considerations play out in several ways. The central IT team might use a combination of Azure Portal for day-to-day management and PowerShell scripts for bulk operations or regular maintenance tasks. The university's Chief Information Officer, CIO, and a select few senior IT staff would need to have Global Administrator or Privileged Role Administrator roles to manage the AU structure. While the engineering department's AU admins would have full management capabilities within their department, they would still be able to view, but not modify, resources from other departments, facilitating cross-department collaboration when necessary. As you implement administrative units in your organization, carefully consider these factors. Evaluate your management tool options based on your team's skills and the complexity of your AU structure. Ensure you have the necessary high-level admin roles assigned to trusted individuals for AU management. Finally, clearly communicate the scope of AUs to your team to set appropriate expectations about the reach of their administrative powers. The diagram we've created visually represents the key considerations for administrative units, AUs, in Microsoft Entra ID. Let's break down each component. Central circle, administrative units. At the center of our diagram is a large circle representing administrative units. This central position emphasizes that AUs are the core concept around which the other considerations revolve. Management tools, top left. This circle highlights the various tools available for managing administrative units. Azure Portal, the primary graphical interface for managing AU's PowerShell for scripting and automation of AU management tasks. Microsoft Graph enables programmatic management of AUs through API calls. These tools offer flexibility in how you interact with and manage your AUs, catering to different administrative needs and preferences. Role requirements, top right. This circle emphasizes the specific roles required to manage administrative units in the Azure portal. Global Admin has full access to all Azure AD features, including AU management. Privileged Role Admin can manage role assignments in Azure AD, including those related to AUs. It's crucial to understand these role requirements to ensure that the right personnel have the necessary permissions to manage AUs effectively. Scope, bottom. This circle highlights a key characteristic of administrative units: their scope, management permissions only. This emphasizes that AUs primarily affect management permissions, not user permissions. Understanding this scope is crucial for properly implementing and using AUs in your organization. It helps set correct expectations about what AUs can and cannot do in terms of access control. The connecting lines between these elements and the central AU circle represent how each of these considerations directly relates to and impacts the implementation and management of administrative units. This visual representation helps to quickly grasp the key points to consider when working with administrative units. You have multiple tools at your disposal for managing AUs. Specific high-level administrative roles are required for AU management. The scope of AUs is limited to management permissions, which is a crucial point for planning their use. By keeping these considerations in mind, you can more effectively implement and manage administrative units in your Microsoft Entra ID environment, leading to better organization, more efficient management, and improved security controls. Let's go through each question in our knowledge check and explore the correct answers along with their rationale. What type of user account allows an external organization to access your resources? Correct answer: a guest user account for each member of the external team. Explanation: guest user accounts are specifically designed for external users who need access to your organization's resources. These accounts allow you to maintain control over your data while providing necessary access to external collaborators. Guest accounts are different from regular user accounts in that they have limited permissions by default, ensuring better security for your organization's resources. What kind of group account can you create so you can apply the same permissions to all group members? Correct answer: security group. Explanation: security groups in Microsoft Entra ID are used to manage member and computer access to shared resources for a group of users. When you create a security group, you can set permissions for all members of that group at once, rather than assigning permissions to each user individually. This makes security groups an efficient way to manage access controls, especially in larger organizations with many users, requiring similar access rights. Which Microsoft Entra role enables a user to manage all groups in your team's tenants and also assign other admin roles? Correct answer: Global Administrator. Explanation: the Global Administrator role, also known as the Company Administrator, has the highest level of permissions in Microsoft Entra ID. This role can access all administrative features in Microsoft Entra ID, as well as services that use Microsoft Entra Identities like Microsoft 365 or Azure AD domain services. Global administrators can manage all aspects of Microsoft Entra ID and Microsoft services that use Microsoft Entra Identities, including the ability to manage all groups in Teams tenants and assign other administrative roles. It's important to note that while the Security Administrator and User Administrator roles have significant permissions, they don't have the comprehensive control that the Global Administrator role provides. The Security Administrator can manage security-related policies and read security information, but can't manage groups or assign admin roles. The User Administrator can manage all aspects of users and groups, including resetting passwords for limited admins, but doesn't have the authority to assign other admin roles. These questions highlight key concepts in Microsoft Entra ID management. The importance of guest accounts for secure collaboration with the use of security groups for efficient permission management, the hierarchical nature of administrative roles in Microsoft Entra ID, with the Global Administrator at the top. As we conclude this module on configuring user and group accounts in Microsoft Entra ID, let's recap the key concepts and their importance for Azure administrators. Types of user accounts. Microsoft Entra ID supports 3 types of user accounts: cloud identities, directory synchronized identities, and guest user identities. This flexibility allows organizations to manage various user types effectively, from internal employees to external collaborators. Cloud identities are created directly in Azure. Directory synchronized identities are synced from an on-premises Active Directory, and guest user identities allow external users to access your resources securely. Customizable profile. Information. Cloud identities in Microsoft Entra ID come with customizable profile information. This includes details such as job title and office location, which can be tailored to fit your organization's specific needs. This customization allows for better user management and can enhance the efficiency of your directory services. Bulk creation of accounts. To streamline the process of setting up multiple users or groups, Microsoft Entra ID supports bulk creation of user and group accounts. This feature uses a template file that can be managed through the Azure portal. Bulk creation is particularly useful for large organizations or during major onboarding events, saving time and reducing the potential for errors in manual creation. Types of group accounts. There are two main types of group accounts in Microsoft Entra ID: security groups and Microsoft 365 groups. Security groups are primarily used for managing access to resources, allowing you to apply the same permissions to multiple users simultaneously. Microsoft 365 groups, on the other hand, are designed for collaboration, providing shared resources like mailboxes and calendars for team members. Administrative units. Administrative units in Microsoft Entra ID provide a way to delegate administrative control over specific resources. This feature is particularly useful for large organizations with multiple departments or divisions. By using administrative units, you can restrict an administrator's permissions to a specific subset of users and groups, enhancing security and ensuring that administrators only have access to the resources they need to manage. Understanding and effectively implementing these features is crucial for Azure administrators. Proper configuration of user and group accounts forms the foundation of a secure and efficient Azure environment. It allows for precise control over who has access to what resources, facilitates collaboration, and simplifies the management of users and groups at scale. Azure regions form the backbone of Microsoft's global cloud infrastructure. These carefully designed geographical areas house state-of-the-art data centers, strategically positioned to serve users worldwide. With an impressive presence in over 60 regions across 140 countries, Azure stands out as a leader in global cloud coverage. The concept of regions in Azure is more than just a technical detail. It's a key factor in delivering optimal performance and compliance. By distributing resources across these regions, Azure brings applications closer to end users, significantly reducing latency and enhancing user experience. This proximity is crucial in today's fast-paced digital landscape, where milliseconds can make a difference. Moreover, Azure regions play a vital role in addressing data residency requirements. In an era of stringent data protection regulations, the ability to keep data within specific geographical boundaries is paramount. Azure's extensive network of regions ensures that organizations can comply with local and international data governance laws, fostering trust and legal compliance. Resilience is another critical aspect addressed by Azure's regional structure. By offering comprehensive options for data replication and disaster recovery across different regions, Azure provides robust solutions for business continuity. This approach safeguards against potential outages or disasters, ensuring that your critical applications and data remain available even in unforeseen circumstances. When implementing Azure regions in your organization, several crucial factors demand attention. First and foremost, careful planning of resource and region deployment is essential. This strategic approach ensures optimal performance and cost efficiency for your cloud infrastructure. Service availability varies across regions, making it imperative to research and verify that the specific Azure services or features you require are supported in your chosen regions. This step prevents potential roadblocks in your deployment process and ensures seamless operation of your applications. Interestingly, not all Azure services are bound by regional constraints. Global services like Microsoft Entra ID, Azure Traffic Manager, and Azure DNS operate independently of region selection. Recognizing these region-agnostic services can simplify your architectural decisions and potentially reduce complexity in your Azure environment. While regional pairs offer numerous benefits, it's crucial to be aware of exceptions. The Brazil South and Singapore regions, for instance, have unique pairing arrangements that deviate from the standard model. Staying informed about these exceptions helps in making accurate decisions for disaster recovery and data replication strategies. Data residency, a key feature of regional pairs, can be a powerful tool in meeting regulatory requirements. By leveraging this feature, you can ensure compliance with tax laws and law enforcement jurisdictions, which is particularly valuable for businesses operating in highly regulated industries or handling sensitive data. To facilitate your decision-making process, Azure provides comprehensive resources. The Azure Global Infrastructure website is an invaluable tool, allowing you to search for supported regions by country region name or by specific Microsoft products. This resource also offers detailed information on regional pairs and any exceptions, empowering you to make well-informed choices aligned with your business needs and compliance requirements. Azure subscriptions play a pivotal role in organizing and managing your cloud resources effectively. These logical units of Azure services are the cornerstone of resource management, access control, and billing in the Azure ecosystem. At its core, an Azure subscription is intricately linked to an Azure account, which is typically an identity in Microsoft Entra ID. This could be a work account, a school account, or any directory trusted by Microsoft Entra ID. This linkage forms the foundation of your Azure resource management structure. One of the primary functions of subscriptions is to organize access to Azure Cloud Service resources. They act as a container for your Azure services, allowing you to group related resources together for easier management and billing. This organizational capability is crucial for businesses with complex cloud infrastructures, enabling them to maintain clarity and control over their Azure environment. Flexibility is a key attribute of Azure subscriptions. Each subscription can have its own unique billing and payment configuration, catering to diverse organizational needs. This feature is particularly beneficial for businesses with multiple departments or projects, each requiring separate billing arrangements. It's important to note that the relationship between Azure accounts and subscriptions is not strictly one-to-one. Multiple subscriptions can be linked to a single Azure account, allowing for granular organization of resources and billing. Conversely, more than one Azure account can be associated with the same subscription, facilitating collaborative resource management across different user accounts. When it comes to billing, Azure operates on a per-subscription basis. This model provides clear visibility into resource usage and costs for each subscription, enabling precise financial management and allocation of cloud expenses. If you're the only account associated with a subscription, you bear the responsibility for meeting its billing requirements. For developers and IT professionals working with Azure programmatically, it's worth noting that many operations for cloud services require a subscription ID. This identifier is crucial for authenticating and authorizing actions within the scope of a specific subscription. As you implement Azure subscriptions for your organization, consider how this structure can best serve your operational, financial, and administrative needs. Thoughtful subscription planning can lead to more efficient resource management, better cost control, and improved overall governance of your Azure environment. When implementing Azure subscriptions for your organization, several key considerations come into play to ensure optimal resource management, cost control, and operational efficiency. First and foremost, it's crucial to determine the types of Azure accounts your users will need. Microsoft Entra accounts or directories trusted by Microsoft Entra ID, such as work or school accounts, are commonly used. For those not affiliated with such organizations, a personal Microsoft account can be used to sign up for Azure, as it's also recognized by Microsoft Entra ID. This flexibility allows organizations to cater to various user types and scenarios. The concept of multiple subscriptions is a powerful tool in your Azure management arsenal. By setting up different subscriptions aligned with your company's structure, be it departments, projects, or regional offices, you can create a clear delineation of resources, access privileges, and billing. This approach allows for granular control and reporting, enabling each unit to manage its own cloud resources independently, while maintaining overall organizational coherence. A dedicated shared services subscription is an often overlooked but valuable consideration. This type of subscription can serve as a centralized hub for common network resources used across your organization. By isolating these shared services such as Azure Express Route or Virtual WAN, you can streamline billing and management of core infrastructure components. This approach not only simplifies cost allocation, but also enhances security and governance of critical shared resources. Access to resources is a fundamental aspect of subscription management. Each Azure subscription is intrinsically linked to a Microsoft Entra ID, forming the basis of authentication and authorization for both users and services. This integration ensures that access to resources is tightly controlled and aligns with your organization's security policies. As you plan your subscription strategy, it's essential to think about how you'll organize resources within each subscription. Resource groups provide a logical container for resources that share the same lifecycle, permissions, or policies. Thoughtful organization of resources into groups can significantly enhance manageability and provide clearer visibility into your Azure environment. Remember, the goal is to create a subscription structure that not only meets your current needs, but is also flexible enough to accommodate future growth and changes in your organization. By carefully considering these factors, you can build a robust and scalable Azure environment that aligns perfectly with your business objectives and operational requirements. Obtaining an Azure subscription is the first step towards leveraging the power of Microsoft's cloud services. There are several pathways to acquire an Azure subscription, each catering to different organizational needs and scales. For large enterprises, the Enterprise Agreement option provides a comprehensive and flexible approach. This route allows organizations to add Azure to their existing enterprise agreement by making an upfront monetary commitment. The beauty of this option lies in its flexibility. The committed funds can be used throughout the year to access any combination of Azure's wide array of cloud services. This approach is particularly beneficial for organizations with substantial and diverse cloud computing needs. For businesses that prefer working through established channels, procuring Azure through a Microsoft reseller is an excellent option. The Open Licensing Program offers a straightforward and flexible way to purchase cloud services. If your organization has already purchased an Azure in Open License Key, you can easily activate a new subscription or add more credits as needed. This option provides a familiar procurement process for organizations already working with Microsoft resellers. Another valuable pathway is through Microsoft partners. These partners bring a wealth of business and technology expertise to the table. They can not only help you obtain an Azure subscription, but also design and implement cloud solutions tailored to your unique business needs. This option is particularly beneficial for organizations that require guidance in their cloud journey or need specialized solutions. For individuals or small teams looking to explore Azure's capabilities, the personal free account option is an ideal starting point. This allows users to sign up for a free trial account, providing an opportunity to get hands-on experience with Azure without any initial financial commitment. It's a risk-free way to explore Azure's services and determine how they can benefit your projects or organization. The beauty of this option is that you won't be charged until you choose to upgrade, giving you ample time to evaluate Azure's offerings. When considering which procurement option is best for your organization, factors such as the scale of your cloud needs, existing relationships with Microsoft or its partners, and your organization's procurement policies should all be taken into account. Each option offers unique benefits, and the right choice will depend on your specific circumstances and goals. Azure offers a range of subscription options to cater to diverse user needs, from individuals and students to small businesses and large enterprises. Understanding these options is crucial for making informed decisions about your cloud strategy. The free subscription is an excellent starting point for those new to Azure. It provides a monetary credit for the first 30 days, allowing you to explore and experiment with various Azure services. Additionally, you get free access to popular Azure products for 12 months and permanent access to over 25 always free products. To set up a free subscription, you'll need a phone number, a credit card for identity verification only, and a Microsoft account. This option is perfect for learning and small-scale testing without any financial commitment. For those ready to start using Azure in production environments, the pay-as-you-go PAYG subscription is a flexible option. With PAYG, you're billed monthly only for the services you've used in that billing period. This model provides great flexibility and is suitable for a wide range of users, from individuals and small businesses to larger organizations. It allows you to scale your Azure usage up or down based on your needs without long-term commitments. Large organizations often benefit from the Azure Enterprise Agreement. This option provides the flexibility to buy cloud services and software licenses under a single agreement, often with significant discounts for new licenses and software assurance. The Enterprise Agreement is designed for organizations operating at scale, offering benefits like consolidated billing and specialized pricing based on the organization's size and usage patterns. For the academic community, Azure offers the Azure for Students subscription. This option includes a monetary credit that can be used within the first 12 months, allowing students to gain hands-on experience with cloud technologies. Importantly, students can select free services without providing a credit card during sign-up, making it an accessible option for educational purposes. To qualify, students need to verify their status using an organizational email address. When considering which subscription types to use, remember that you're not limited to just one. Many organizations use a combination of subscription types to meet different needs. For example, you might use free or student subscriptions for training and development, PAYG for small-scale production workloads, and an enterprise agreement for large-scale organization-wide deployments. It's also worth noting that Microsoft regularly updates its Azure offerings. For the most current and comprehensive list of Azure subscription options, it's advisable to check the official Microsoft Azure Offers page. By carefully considering your organization's scale, budget, and usage patterns, you can select the most appropriate Azure subscription types to support your cloud strategy effectively and cost-efficiently. Microsoft Cost Management is a powerful tool designed to help organizations monitor, control, and optimize their Azure spending. In the pay-as-you-go model of cloud computing, where you're charged only for the resources you use, effective cost management becomes crucial for maintaining budget control and ensuring optimal resource utilization. One of the key strengths of Microsoft Cost Management lies in its ability to provide detailed insights into cost and usage patterns. The tool employs advanced analytics to break down your Azure spending, factoring in negotiated prices and taking into account discounts from programs like Azure Reservations and Azure Hybrid Benefit. This comprehensive view allows organizations to understand their true costs and identify areas for potential savings. Moreover, the tool offers predictive analytics, helping you forecast future spending based on current usage trends. The reporting capabilities of Microsoft Cost Management are particularly noteworthy. These reports offer a holistic view of your Azure costs, encompassing not just Azure services, but also third-party marketplace offerings. This broad coverage ensures you have visibility into all your cloud-related expenses, both internal and external. The reports are designed to help you understand your spending patterns, resource utilization, and even detect spending anomalies that might indicate inefficiencies or unexpected usage spikes. It's important to note, however, that certain charges like reservation purchases, support fees, and taxes may not be reflected in these reports. To help you better organize and understand your expenses, Microsoft Cost Management leverages Azure Management Groups. This feature allows you to group your resources and subscriptions logically, making it easier to track and manage costs across different departments or projects within your organization. The tool also supports budget creation, allowing you to set spending limits and receive alerts when you're approaching these thresholds. Additionally, it provides cost-saving recommendations, proactively identifying opportunities to optimize your Azure spend. For organizations looking to integrate cost data with their existing systems and processes, Microsoft Cost Management offers robust API support. This feature enables you to export cost data and automate its integration with external systems, streamlining your financial reporting and analysis processes. The tool also supports automated billing data export and scheduled reports, further enhancing its flexibility and usability. By leveraging Microsoft Cost Management, organizations can gain granular control over their Azure spending, make data-driven decisions about resource allocation, and continuously optimize their cloud costs. Whether you're a small business looking to keep cloud expenses in check, or a large enterprise aiming to optimize a complex, multi-departmental cloud infrastructure. When implementing Microsoft Cost Management, several key areas deserve careful consideration to maximize the benefits for your organization. Let's explore these areas in detail. First, cost analysis is a cornerstone feature that you should leverage extensively. Microsoft Cost Management provides powerful tools to explore and analyze your organizational costs in depth. You can view aggregated costs across your entire organization, helping you understand where costs are accruing and identify spending trends. This feature is particularly valuable for monitoring accumulated costs over time, allowing you to estimate monthly, quarterly, or even yearly cost trends against your budget. By regularly performing cost analysis, you can gain insights that drive informed decision-making about resource allocation and usage. Budgeting is another critical aspect of cost management. The platform offers robust budgeting features that help establish and maintain financial accountability within your organization. You can set up budgets that act as cost thresholds or limits, preventing overspending. These budgets can be used proactively to inform different departments or teams about their spending, encouraging a culture of cost awareness. The ability to track spending progress over time against these budgets provides valuable visibility into your financial health and helps in long-term financial planning. One of the most valuable features of Microsoft Cost Management is its recommendation system. The platform provides actionable insights to optimize your resource usage and improve efficiency. These recommendations can help you identify idle or underutilized resources, potentially revealing less expensive alternatives. The process of using these recommendations is straightforward. First, review the cost optimization suggestions to spot potential inefficiencies. Then, act on these recommendations by modifying your Azure resource usage to implement more cost-effective options. Finally, verify the impact of these changes to ensure they've had the desired effect. This iterative process of review, action, and verification can lead to significant cost savings over time. Lastly, consider how you can leverage the data export capabilities of Microsoft Cost Management. If your organization uses external systems for financial analysis or reporting, you can easily export cost management data from Azure. The platform allows you to set up daily scheduled exports in CSV format, which can be stored in Azure storage. This exported data can then be accessed and analyzed by your external systems, allowing for seamless integration with your existing financial processes and tools. By thoughtfully implementing these aspects of Microsoft Cost Management, cost analysis, budgeting, recommendations, and data export, you can gain granular control over your Azure spending, drive cost optimization across your organization, and ensure that your cloud resources are being used efficiently. Resource tagging in Azure is a powerful feature that allows you to logically organize your cloud resources by categories. This organizational tool is invaluable for sorting, searching, managing, and analyzing your Azure resources effectively. Let's delve into the key aspects of resource tagging and how you can leverage this feature to optimize your Azure environment. At its core, each resource tag is composed of a name and a value. For instance, you might create a tag named Server with values like production or development. This simple yet flexible structure allows you to create a tagging system that aligns perfectly with your organizational needs. You could apply these tags to your engineering computer resources, making it easy to distinguish between production and development. Environments at a glance. It's important to note that while the tag name remains constant for all resources with that tag, the tag value can be either selected from a predefined set or uniquely assigned to a specific resource instance. This flexibility allows for both standardization and customization in your tagging strategy. Azure does impose some limitations on tagging. Each resource or resource group can have a maximum of 50 tag name value pairs. This limit is generally sufficient for most organizational needs, but it's something to keep in mind when designing your tagging strategy. Another crucial point to remember is that tags applied to a resource group are not inherited by the resources within that group. This means you'll need to apply tags at both the resource group and individual resource levels if you want consistent tagging across your entire environment. Now let's explore some practical applications of resource tagging. One of the most powerful uses is in resource searching and management. You can easily search for resources across your subscription by querying on tag names or values. This capability extends to finding related resources from other resource groups, making it an excellent tool for understanding the relationships between your various Azure resources. Tags also play a significant role in cost management and billing. By applying tags that represent cost centers or environments, like production or development, you can group your resources for billing purposes. When you download the resource usage CSV file for your services, these tags will appear in the Tags column, making it straightforward to allocate costs to different departments or projects. For those managing large-scale Azure environments, the ability to create tags programmatically is a game changer. You can use Azure PowerShell or the Azure CLI to create and apply many resource tags efficiently, enabling you to implement a comprehensive tagging strategy across your entire Azure estate quickly. In conclusion, resource tagging in Azure is a versatile and powerful tool for organizing, managing, and analyzing your cloud resources. Azure offers several powerful options to help organizations optimize their cloud spending and achieve significant cost savings. As you plan your Azure implementation strategy, it's crucial to consider these cost-saving advantages to maximize the value of your cloud investment. Reservations are a key tool for reducing costs in Azure. By prepaying for 1 or 3 years of virtual machine usage, SQL database compute capacity, Azure Cosmos DB throughput, or other Azure resources, you can unlock substantial discounts. These discounts can be as high as 72% compared to pay-as-you-go prices, making reservations an attractive option for workloads with predictable resource needs. It's important to note that while reservations provide a billing discount, they don't affect the runtime state of your resources. For organizations with existing on-premises licenses, Azure Hybrid Benefits can offer significant savings. This program allows you to leverage your current Windows Server or SQL Server licenses that include software assurance when migrating to Azure. To help you quantify the potential savings, Microsoft provides an Azure Hybrid Benefits Savings Calculator, making it easier to estimate the cost benefits of this program. Azure credits are another valuable cost-saving feature, particularly for development and testing scenarios. Visual Studio subscribers can use these monthly credits to experiment with new solutions on Azure at no extra charge. This essentially provides a personal sandbox for development and testing, allowing teams to innovate without incurring additional costs. When planning your Azure deployment, it's worth considering the impact of Azure regions on pricing. Costs can vary between regions, even within the same country. By comparing prices across different regions, you might find opportunities to reduce costs by selecting a more cost-effective location for your resources. Effective budgeting is crucial for cost management, and Azure provides robust budgeting features through Microsoft Cost Management. These tools allow you to set budgets for specific periods, monitor spending over time, and drive organizational accountability. By leveraging these budgeting capabilities, you can proactively manage costs and ensure that your Azure spending aligns with your financial plans. Finally, the Azure Pricing Calculator is an invaluable tool for estimating costs across all areas of Azure, including compute, networking, storage, web, and databases. This calculator allows you to model different scenarios and understand the potential costs before committing to a particular configuration. For example, you can easily compare the costs of different virtual machine sizes or storage options, helping you make informed decisions about your Azure resource allocation. Now that you've had a chance to answer the knowledge check questions, let's review the correct answers and explain why each is the best choice. 1. The company financial controller wants to be notified whenever the company is halfway to spending the money allocated for cloud services. Which approach supports this request? Correct answer. Create a budget and a spending threshold.
Explanation. Azure's cost management feature allows you to create based on spending thresholds.
By creating a budget for the allocated cloud service funds and setting a notification threshold at 50%, the financial controller can be automatically alerted when spending reaches the halfway point. This approach provides proactive cost management and helps prevent overspending. 2. The company financial controller wants to identify which billing department each Azure resource belongs to. Which approach enables this requirement? Correct answer. Apply a tag to each resource that includes the associated billing department. Explanation. Azure resource tags are key value pairs that can be applied to resources for organizational purposes. By applying a tag with a key like billing department and a value corresponding to the specific department, you can easily track which resources belong to which billing department. This approach allows for flexible, granular resource organization and simplifies cost allocation and reporting across different departments. 3. Which option preserves data residency and offers comprehensive compliance and resiliency options? Correct answer. Regions explanation. Azure regions play a crucial role in preserving data residency and ensuring compliance with local regulations. When you deploy resources to a specific Azure region, you can be assured that your data will remain within that geographical area. Additionally, Azure regions are designed with comprehensive compliance certifications and built-in resiliency options, such as availability zones and region pairs. This makes regions the key factor in addressing data residency, compliance, and resiliency requirements. These questions highlight important aspects of Azure management. The importance of proactive cost management using budgets and alerts. The value of resource tagging for organization and cost allocation. The role of Azure regions in addressing data residency and compliance requirements. Understanding these concepts is crucial for effective Azure administration and cost optimization. Remember, while these are best practices, real-world scenarios may require a combination of approaches to fully meet an organization's needs. Azure Management Groups serve as a powerful tool for organizations dealing with multiple subscriptions. These groups provide a higher level of scope and control, acting as containers to manage access, policy, and compliance across various subscriptions. When working with Azure Management Groups, it's important to note several key characteristics. By default, all newly created subscriptions are automatically placed under the top-level management group, also known as the root group. This default placement ensures that no subscription is left unmanaged. One of the most significant advantages of management groups is the automatic inheritance of conditions. Any subscription within a management group will inherit the conditions applied to that group, streamlining the process of maintaining consistent policies and access controls across your Azure environment. Flexibility is another hallmark of Azure management groups. The management group tree can support up to 6 levels of depth, allowing for a nuanced and detailed organizational structure that can accommodate even the most complex enterprise hierarchies. It's worth noting that Azure Role-Based Access Control (RBAC) authorization for management group operations isn't enabled by default. This design choice allows organizations to carefully consider and implement their access control strategies before applying them. At the management group level, when implementing Azure management groups, several key considerations can help you maximize their effectiveness in managing your Azure environment. These considerations encompass various aspects of organizational structure, policy management, compliance, and cost control. First and foremost, custom hierarchies and groupings play a crucial role. By aligning your Azure subscriptions with your company's organizational structure and business scenarios, you can create a management group hierarchy that reflects your unique needs. This alignment allows for more targeted application of policies and spending budgets across subscriptions, ensuring that your Azure environment mirrors your organizational priorities. Policy inheritance is another critical factor to consider. The hierarchical nature of management groups means that all subscriptions within a group automatically inherit the conditions applied to that group. This inheritance model allows for efficient and consistent policy implementation across your Azure estate. For instance, you could apply a policy at the management group level to restrict the regions where virtual machines can be created, ensuring that this rule is enforced across all subscriptions, resources, and subgroups under that management group. Compliance is a top priority for many organizations, and management groups can be a powerful tool in this regard. By organizing your subscriptions into management groups, you can more easily apply and manage compliance rules for individual departments and teams. This approach allows for granular control over who can access what resources and under what conditions, helping you meet regulatory requirements and internal governance standards. Lastly, cost reporting is an often overlooked benefit of management groups. By structuring your management groups to reflect your organizational hierarchy or specific business scenarios, you can generate detailed cost reports that provide insights into spending patterns across different departments or projects. This capability enables more accurate budgeting and helps identify areas where costs can be optimized. By carefully considering these factors when implementing Azure management groups, you can create a more organized, compliant, and cost-effective Azure environment that aligns closely with your organization's needs and goals. Creating Azure management groups is a straightforward process that can be accomplished through various methods, offering flexibility to suit different administrative preferences and workflows. Administrators have the option to create management groups using the Azure Portal, PowerShell, or the Azure CLI, allowing them to choose the most convenient and familiar tool for their needs. When creating a management group, there are 2 key identifiers to consider: the Directory Unique Identifier, ID, and the display name. The ID plays a crucial role in the management group's identity within the Azure system. It's important to note that once created, this ID cannot be changed. This immutability ensures consistency in system references and commands targeting the management group throughout its lifecycle. On the other hand, the display name offers more flexibility. This optional field can be customized to provide a human-readable label for the management group. Unlike the ID, the display name can be modified at any time, allowing administrators to update it as needed to reflect changes in organizational structure or naming conventions. The process of creating a management group in the Azure portal typically involves navigating to the Management Groups section, selecting the option to add a new group, and then providing the necessary details. While the exact steps may vary slightly depending on the Azure portal version, the general flow remains consistent. For those who prefer command line interfaces, PowerShell and Azure CLI offer powerful alternatives. These methods can be particularly useful for automating the creation of multiple management groups or integrating management group creation into broader scripted processes. Regardless of the method chosen, it's crucial to plan your management group structure carefully before implementation. Consider your organization's hierarchy, the policies you wish to apply, and how you want to organize your Azure resources. A well-thought-out management group structure can significantly enhance your ability to manage and govern your Azure environment effectively. Remember, while creating management groups is a relatively simple task, the real power lies in how you use them to organize your Azure resources and apply policies across your organization. Take the time to design a structure that aligns with your organizational needs and governance requirements to make the most of this powerful Azure feature. The diagram presented illustrates the key concepts and structure of Azure management groups. At the top, we see the root management group, which serves as the highest level in the hierarchy. This root group encompasses all subscriptions and nested management groups within an Azure tenant. Below the root, we have three Level 1 management groups: Finance MG, IT MG, and HR MG. These represent how an organization might structure its Azure resources based on departments or business functions. Each of these management groups can have its own set of policies and access controls. Underneath the management groups, we see individual subscriptions, Sub 1, Sub 2, Sub 3, and Sub 4, connected to their respective management groups. This visualizes how subscriptions inherit policies and access controls from their parent management groups. The diagram uses color coding to enhance understanding. The root group is in deep purple, 624, representing its top-level status. Level 1 management groups are in a lighter purple, 8710D8, showing their subordinate but still high-level position. Subscriptions are in very light purple, F3CF, with a purple border, indicating they are the lowest level in this hierarchy. At the bottom of the diagram, we have a yellow box highlighting key considerations for Azure management groups. Custom hierarchies align with organizational structure. Policy inheritance flows down the hierarchy. Compliance rules can be applied at the group-level cost reporting across subscriptions. Created via Azure Portal, PowerShell, or Azure CLI Unique ID, immutable, and display name, changeable. Up to 6 levels of depth supported. Azure Policy is a powerful service within the Azure ecosystem that enables organizations to create, assign, and manage policies across their cloud resources. This service plays a crucial role in enforcing rules, ensuring compliance, and maintaining consistency across your Azure environment. Let's delve into the key advantages and considerations of Azure Policy. One of the primary advantages of Azure Policy is its ability to enforce rules and compliance. With Azure Policy, you can enable built-in policies or create custom ones that apply to all resource types in your environment. This capability allows for real-time policy evaluation and enforcement, ensuring that your resources always adhere to your organization's standards. Moreover, Azure Policy supports periodic or on-demand compliance evaluation, giving you flexibility in how you monitor and maintain your compliance posture. Scalability is another significant advantage of Azure Policy. You can apply policies at a management group level, allowing you to control policy implementation across your entire organization. This scalability extends to the application of multiple policies and the aggregation of policy states through policy initiatives. Azure Policy also provides the flexibility to define exclusion scopes, allowing you to make exceptions where necessary, without compromising your overall governance strategy. Remediation is a key feature of Azure Policy that sets it apart from many other governance tools. With Azure Policy, you can conduct real-time remediation of non-compliant resources. This means that as soon as a resource falls out of compliance, Azure Policy can automatically take corrective action. Additionally, you can perform remediation on your existing resources, ensuring that even legacy deployments are brought into line with your current policies. Azure Policy is an essential tool for exercising governance in complex Azure environments. It supports multiple engineering teams working within the same environment, helps manage multiple subscriptions, and allows you to standardize and enforce how cloud resources are configured. Whether you're focusing on regulatory compliance, cost control, security, or design consistency, Azure Policy provides the tools you need to implement effective governance. When implementing Azure Policy, there are several key considerations to keep in mind. 1. Deployable resources. Use Azure Policy to specify which resource types your organization can deploy. For example, you might restrict the virtual machine SKUs available for deployment to control costs or ensure performance standards. 2. Location restrictions. Azure Policy allows you to restrict the locations where resources can be deployed. This can be crucial for data residency requirements or for optimizing network performance. Rules enforcement. Implement compliance rules and configuration options to manage your resources effectively. For instance, you might enforce required tags on resources to improve organization and cost allocation. Inventory audits. Leverage Azure Policy in conjunction with other Azure services, such as Azure Backup, to maintain comprehensive inventory audits of your virtual machines and other resources. By carefully considering these aspects and leveraging the full capabilities of Azure Policy, you can create a well-governed, compliant, and efficient Azure environment that aligns with your organization's needs and standards. Creating and implementing Azure policies is a structured process that allows Azure administrators to define and enforce conventions for resources across their Azure environment. This process involves 4 key steps, each playing a crucial role in establishing effective governance and compliance measures. Create policy definitions. The first step in the process is creating policy definitions. A policy definition is essentially a rule that defines the compliance conditions for a resource and the actions to be taken when these conditions are met. Azure provides a range of built-in policy definitions, but you also have the flexibility to create custom ones tailored to your organization's specific needs. For instance, you might create a policy definition that prevents the deployment of virtual machines with public IP addresses, enhancing your organization's security posture. Create an initiative definition. Once you have your policy definitions in place, the next step is to create an initiative definition. An initiative definition is a collection of policy definitions that work together towards a larger compliance goal. Think of it as a package of policies that helps you track your resource compliance state more comprehensively. For example, you might create an initiative definition that ensures all your resources comply with specific security regulations, encompassing multiple individual policy definitions related to encryption, network security, and access control. Scope the initiative definition. After creating your initiative definition, it's crucial to define its scope of application. Azure Policy provides granular control over how your initiative definitions are applied to resources in your organization. You can limit the scope of an initiative definition to specific management groups, subscriptions, or resource groups. This flexibility allows you to apply different policies to different parts of your Azure environment, accommodating varying compliance needs across your organization. Determine compliance. The final step in the process is determining compliance. Once you've assigned an initiative definition to a scope, Azure Policy allows you to evaluate the compliance state of all your resources within that scope. This evaluation provides visibility into which resources are compliant and which ones need attention. It's important to note that Azure policy also supports exemptions, allowing you to exclude individual resources, resource groups. Azure policy provides a robust framework for creating and implementing policy definitions to govern your Azure resources effectively. When it comes to policy definitions, Azure offers several options to cater to various organizational needs and scenarios. The first and most straightforward option is to use built-in policy definitions. Azure policy comes with a comprehensive set of predefined policies that cover a wide range of governance and compliance scenarios. These built-in definitions are categorized to make it easier for administrators to find policies that align with their specific business requirements. For instance, you can find policies related to compute resources, networking, storage, and more. Here are some examples of popular built-in policy definitions. Allowed virtual machine size SKUs. This policy, found in the compute category, allows you to specify a set of virtual machine sizes that your organization can deploy. It's an excellent tool for controlling costs and ensuring that resources are appropriately sized for their intended use. Allowed locations. Located in the general category, this policy restricts the locations where users can deploy resources. It's particularly useful for organizations that need to enforce geo-compliance requirements or manage data residency concerns. Configure Azure Device Update for IoT Hub accounts to disable public network access. This policy, found in the Internet of Things category, helps enhance security by disabling public network access for device update for IoT Hub resources. While built-in policies cover many common scenarios, organizations often have unique requirements that necessitate custom policy definitions. Azure Policy provides the flexibility to create your own definitions tailored to your specific needs. When creating custom policies, it's crucial to adhere to the specific JSON format required by Azure. This ensures that your policies are correctly interpreted and enforced by the Azure Policy Engine. Another valuable option for policy definitions is importing from external sources, particularly GitHub. The Azure Policy team maintains a samples repository on GitHub where new policy definitions are added almost daily. This repository is a treasure trove of policy definitions that cover a wide range of scenarios and best practices. By leveraging these samples, you can quickly implement sophisticated policies without having to write them from scratch. When adding or creating new policy definitions, whether custom or imported, it's essential to thoroughly test them in a non-production environment before applying them broadly. This practice helps ensure that the policies behave as expected and don't inadvertently restrict legitimate activities or resource deployments. By combining built-in policies, custom definitions, and imported samples, Azure administrators can create a comprehensive policy framework that addresses their organization's specific governance and compliance needs. After establishing individual policy definitions, the next crucial step in Azure policy implementation is creating an initiative definition. An initiative definition is a powerful tool that allows you to group multiple policy definitions together, providing a more comprehensive and manageable approach to enforcing compliance across your Azure resources. An initiative definition can contain one or more policy definitions, making it an ideal solution for scenarios where you need to ensure compliance with multiple related requirements or regulations. For example, you might create an initiative definition to ensure your resources comply with a specific set of security regulations, encompassing policies for encryption, network security, and access control all in one package. One of the key advantages of using initiative definitions is their ability to simplify policy management. Even if your organization currently has only a few policy definitions, it's highly recommended to create and apply initiative definitions. This approach provides several benefits. Scalability. As your policy needs grow, it's easier to add new policy definitions to an existing initiative rather than managing multiple individual policies. Consistency. Initiative definitions ensure that a consistent set of policies is applied across resources, reducing the risk of oversight or inconsistency. Simplified assignment. You can assign multiple policies at once by assigning a single initiative, streamlining the policy implementation process. Improved visibility. Initiative definitions provide a clearer overview of your compliance state across multiple related policies. When creating an initiative definition, it's crucial to adhere to the specific JSON format required by Azure. This format, detailed in the Azure Policy Initiative Definition Structure documentation, ensures that your initiative is correctly interpreted and enforced by Azure policy. The JSON structure typically includes elements such as the initiative's metadata, parameters, and the policy definitions included in the initiative. Creating a new initiative definition can be done through various methods. Azure Portal. This is often the most user-friendly method, especially for those new to Azure policy. The portal provides a graphical interface to select policies, set parameters, and create the initiative. Azure PowerShell. For those comfortable with scripting, PowerShell offers a powerful way to create and manage initiative definitions programmatically. Azure CLI. Similar to PowerShell, the Azure CLI allows for command line creation and management of initiative definitions. ARM templates. For infrastructure as code scenarios, you can define initiatives within your ARM templates. Regardless of the method you choose, the process generally involves specifying a name and description for the initiative, selecting the policy definitions to include, and setting any necessary parameters. Azure Policy not only allows you to create custom initiative definitions, but also provides a comprehensive set of built-in initiative definitions. These predefined initiatives are designed to address common compliance and governance scenarios, making it easier for organizations to quickly implement best practices and industry standards. Built-in initiative definitions in Azure Policy are categorized to facilitate easy searching and implementation. This categorization allows administrators to quickly find relevant initiatives that align with their organization's specific needs, whether they're focused on security, monitoring, compliance, or other aspects of cloud governance. Let's explore some examples of built-in initiative definitions available in Azure Policy. Audit machines with insecure password security settings. This initiative, found in the guest configuration category, is designed to enhance the security posture of your Azure resources. When applied, it deploys an audit policy to specified resources in your organization. The policy evaluates these resources to check for insecure password security settings. This is particularly useful for identifying potential vulnerabilities in your virtual machines and ensuring that robust password policies are consistently applied across your environment. Configure Windows machines to run Azure Monitor Agent and associate them to a data collection rule. Located in the monitoring category, this initiative plays a crucial role in maintaining visibility and security across your Windows-based resources. It's designed to monitor and secure Windows VMs, virtual machine scale sets, and ARC-enabled machines. When implemented, this initiative deploys the Azure Monitor Agent extension to these resources and associates them with a specified data collection rule. This ensures that you have consistent monitoring and data collection across your Windows environment, enabling better insights and more effective management. Configure Azure Defender to be enabled on SQL servers. Found in the SQL category, this initiative focuses on enhancing the security of your Azure SQL servers. Azure Defender for SQL is a unified package for advanced SQL security capabilities, providing vulnerability assessment and advanced threat protection. By enabling this initiative, you activate Azure Defender on your Azure SQL servers, allowing it to detect anomalous activities that may indicate unusual and potentially harmful attempts to access or exploit your databases. This proactive security measure is crucial for protecting sensitive data and maintaining the integrity of your SQL environments. These examples illustrate the diversity and depth of built-in initiative definitions available in Azure Policy. By leveraging these predefined initiatives, organizations can quickly implement industry best practices and compliance standards, reduce the time and effort required to create and maintain custom policies, ensure consistency. After creating an initiative definition in Azure Policy, the next crucial step is to assign the initiative and establish its scope. This process is fundamental in determining which resources or groups of resources will be affected by the policies contained within the initiative. Proper scoping ensures that your policies are applied exactly where they're needed, providing granular control over your Azure environment. The scope of an initiative definition determines the breadth of its influence across your Azure resources. When you assign an initiative, you're essentially defining the boundaries within which the policies will be enforced. This could range from a single resource group to an entire Azure subscription, or even span multiple subscriptions within a management group. Here's a more detailed look at how to approach scoping your initiative definitions. Assigning the initiative. The first step in scoping is to assign the initiative. This process links the initiative definition to a specific scope within your Azure environment. During this assignment, you'll specify exactly where the initiative should take effect. Selecting subscriptions. One of the primary ways to establish scope is by selecting the affected subscriptions. This allows you to apply the initiative across one or more subscriptions, ensuring that all resources within those subscriptions are governed by the policies in your initiative. This is particularly useful for organizations that use different subscriptions for different departments or projects. Choosing resource groups. For more granular control, Azure Policy allows you to optionally choose specific resource groups within the selected subscriptions. This feature is incredibly useful when you need to apply policies to a subset of resources within a subscription. For example, you might have stricter policies for resource groups containing production workloads compared to those used for development or testing. Hierarchical scoping. Azure Policy supports hierarchical scoping, which means you can assign initiatives at different levels of your Azure resource hierarchy. You can assign an initiative at the management group level to affect multiple subscriptions, at the subscription level to affect all resource groups within a subscription, or at the resource group level for the most focused application. Exclusions. While setting the scope, you also have the option to exclude certain subscriptions, resource groups, or individual resources from the initiative assignment. This allows for exceptions where specific resources need to operate outside the bounds of the general policy. Scope evaluation. Once the scope is set, Azure Policy will evaluate all resources within that scope against the policies in the initiative. Resources that fall outside this scope will not be affected by or evaluated against these policies. Inheritance and overrides. It's important to understand that policy assignments follow an inheritance model. After defining policies, creating initiative definitions, and assigning them to the appropriate scope, the final crucial step in the Azure Policy lifecycle is to evaluate the compliance state of your resources. This process allows you to understand how well your Azure environment adheres to the governance rules you've established. The primary tool for determining compliance in Azure Policy is the compliance feature. This powerful functionality provides a comprehensive view of your policy and initiative assignments, allowing you to quickly identify areas of non-compliance across your Azure estate. Here's a deeper look at how compliance determination works and what it means for your Azure governance. Compliance evaluation process. Azure Policy continuously evaluates your resources against the assigned policies and initiatives. This evaluation occurs in real time as resources are created or modified, and also on a regular schedule for existing resources. The evaluation compares the current state of your resources with the conditions specified in your policies. Compliance states. The result of this evaluation is a compliance state, which is typically binary, compliant or non-compliant. A resource is considered compliant if it meets all the conditions specified in the applicable policies. If it fails to meet any condition, it's marked as non-compliant. Granular compliance reporting. The compliance feature allows you to drill down into different levels of detail. You can view compliance at the initiative level, policy level, or individual resource level. This granularity helps you pinpoint exactly where issues are occurring and what specific policies are being violated. Non-compliant resources. For non-compliant resources, Azure Policy provides detailed information about why the resource is not compliant. This might include which specific policy condition was not met, helping you quickly understand and address the issue. Compliance dashboard. The Azure portal provides a compliance dashboard that gives you a visual overview of your compliance state. This dashboard can help you quickly identify trends, problem areas, or improvements in your overall compliance posture. Evaluation logic. It's important to note that while the Azure portal shows the results of the compliance evaluation, it doesn't display the underlying evaluation logic. The actual process of checking resources against policy can be behind the scenes. Scope-based evaluation. Compliance is always evaluated within the context of the scope you've defined. This means that resources outside your defined scope won't impact your compliance results, ensuring that you're only seeing relevant information. Compliance over time. Azure Policy maintains a history of compliance states, allowing you to track how your compliance posture changes over time. This can be particularly useful for audit purposes or for demonstrating improvements in your governance approach. Knowledge check. Azure Policy and Governance. Answers and explanations. There are several Azure policies that need to be applied to a new branch office. What's the best approach? Correct answer. B. Create a policy initiative. Explanation. When you have multiple policies that need to be applied together, creating a policy initiative is the most efficient approach. A policy initiative allows you to group related policy definitions, making it easier to assign and manage multiple policies as a single unit. This is more scalable and maintainable than creating individual policy definitions or management groups for this purpose. To satisfy the finance team's request for billing by department, multiple resource groups have been created and the resource tags applied. What's the next step? Correct answer. B. Create an Azure policy explanation. After creating resource groups and applying tags, the next step is to create an Azure policy. This policy would enforce the use of the department tags on all resources, ensuring consistent categorization across the organization. This approach ensures that all future resources are properly tagged, maintaining accurate billing categorization by department. How can you ensure that only cost-effective virtual machine SKU sizes are deployed? Correct answer. C. Create a policy in Azure Policy that specifies the allowed SKU sizes. Explanation. Creating a policy in Azure. Policy that specifies allowed SKU sizes is the most effective way to ensure only cost-effective VM sizes are deployed. This method provides proactive enforcement, preventing non-compliant resources from being created in the first place. It's more reliable and less labor-intensive than periodic inspections and more enforceable than relying on RBAC roles. Which option can you use to manage governance across multiple Azure subscriptions? Correct answer. C. Management Groups. Explanation. Management groups are the best option for managing governance across multiple Azure subscriptions. They provide a level of scope above subscriptions, allowing you to organize subscriptions into hierarchies for unified policy and access management. This makes it easier to apply consistent governance across multiple subscriptions, which is not possible with resource groups or initiatives alone. These answers highlight key concepts in Azure governance, the power of policy initiatives and grouping related policies for easier management, the importance of enforcing consistent resource tagging through Azure policy, the role of Azure policy in proactively enforcing standards, such as allowed VM sizes, the hierarchical nature of Azure management, with management groups providing a way to organize and govern multiple subscriptions. Microsoft Entra ID implements a hierarchical system of user accounts to maintain security and control access across your organization. At the top of this hierarchy are the administrator accounts, which possess the highest level of access privileges and control over the system. These accounts are specifically designed for users who need to manage and configure the Entra ID environment. Moving down the hierarchy, we find member user accounts. These represent your organization's regular employees who need access to your company's resources to perform their daily tasks. While they have fewer privileges than administrators, they maintain standard access rights necessary for their work responsibilities. At the base level are guest user accounts, which provide limited access to external users who need to collaborate with your organization. These accounts are perfect for contractors, partners, or clients who require temporary or restricted access to specific resources. Administrator roles in Microsoft Entra ID serve as the backbone of identity management. These specialized roles grant elevated privileges to selected users who oversee critical identity tasks within your organization. When working with administrator roles, it's crucial to understand their scope and impact. Take the global administrator role, for instance. Users with this role possess comprehensive control over all aspects of your Entra ID environment. They can manage everything from user accounts to security policies. The user administrator role, while more focused, allows for user management tasks, such as creating accounts and resetting passwords. To create new users, administrators can leverage various tools. Through the Azure Portal's intuitive interface, PowerShell's powerful CMDlets like new MUser, member users form the core workforce of your organization in Microsoft Entra ID. These users enjoy standard access privileges that allow them to manage their own profiles and access organizational resources. When new employees join your organization, they typically receive member user accounts, enabling them to seamlessly integrate into your digital workplace. Guest users, on the other hand, represent external collaborators who need limited access to your organization's resources. These accounts are perfect for contractors, consultants, or partner organizations. By default, member users can invite guests, though this capability can be restricted by administrators. Guest users sign in using their existing credentials, whether from work, school, or social accounts. The distinction between member and guest users helps maintain security while enabling collaboration. While member users have full access to their assigned resources, guest users operate under restricted permissions, ensuring they can only access what they need for their specific role or project. Microsoft Entra ID provides multiple approaches for adding user accounts, catering to different administrative preferences and scenarios. Through the Azure Portal's graphical interface, administrators can manually create users with just a few clicks. For automation-focused administrators, both the Azure CLI and PowerShell offer powerful command line options. The Azure CLI utilizes the straightforward Azure user create command, while PowerShell employs the NumGuser CMDlet. These command line tools prove particularly valuable for scripting and automation tasks. For large-scale user management, bulk operations streamline the process. By preparing a CSV file with user details, administrators can efficiently invite multiple guest users simultaneously. The PowerShell script processes this CSV file, sending customized invitations to each listed email address. This approach significantly reduces the time and effort required for managing multiple user accounts. When it comes to removing user accounts from Microsoft Entra ID, administrators have multiple methods at their disposal. The Azure portal provides a graphical interface for manual deletion, while PowerShell's remove user cmdlet and Azure CLI's AZ add user delete command offer automation capabilities. A crucial safeguard in the deletion process is the 30-day suspension period. During this time, the deleted account isn't permanently removed, but rather placed in a suspended state. This grace period allows administrators to restore accidentally deleted accounts, preventing potential data loss and access disruption. For external collaboration scenarios, guest user accounts are the recommended approach. These accounts provide the necessary access controls while maintaining security. When creating accounts for external organization members, always opt for guest accounts rather than standard member or administrator accounts to ensure proper security boundaries. To begin managing users in Microsoft Entra ID, we first need to establish our organizational foundation. The process starts in the Azure portal, where we'll create a new Microsoft Entra organization. Remember, this requires a paid Azure subscription. Free subscriptions won't support this functionality. The creation process follows a logical sequence through the Azure portal. Beginning at Create a Resource, we navigate through the Identity category to initiate our Microsoft Entra ID setup. During configuration, we'll specify our organization name as Contoso Marketing Company and create a unique domain name following the format Contoso Marketing XXXX. A key consideration during setup is the domain name uniqueness. The XXXX portion of your domain name needs to be replaced with unique numbers or letters to ensure your organization's domain name isn't already in use across the Microsoft Entra ID system. After completing all required fields and passing the human verification check, your new tenant will be ready for user management. To access advanced features in Microsoft Entra ID, we'll activate a free trial of the P2 license. Navigate to the Licenses section under Manage, then select Get a Free Trial from Quick Tasks. Choose Microsoft Entra ID P2 and activate the trial license. After activation, refresh the overview page until you see the P2 license status update. Note your global administrator role and copy the primary domain name for future use. Managing users in Microsoft Entra ID involves three key operations: adding, deleting, and recovering users. To add a new user, navigate to the Users section and create a new user profile with essential details like the user principal name and display name. In our example, we're creating an account for Chris Green. The deletion process is straightforward. Select the user from the All Users list and choose Delete. However, deleted accounts aren't permanently removed immediately. Instead, they remain recoverable for 30 days through the Deleted Users section, where you can easily restore them if needed. Managing access with Microsoft. Entra Groups. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure AD, provides a comprehensive solution for managing access to both cloud-based and on-premises applications and resources. This powerful identity and access management service helps organizations maintain control over user access while ensuring security and compliance. Submounts access management in Microsoft. Entra ID, Microsoft Entra Roles Microsoft. Entra roles are designed specifically for managing Microsoft Entra ID related resources. These include user management, group management, billing and licensing, application registration. Other Microsoft Entra specific tasks. The roles provide granular control over who can perform specific actions within your Microsoft Entra environment. Role-Based Access Control (RBAC) for Azure Resources. RBAC is focused on managing access to Azure resources. This includes virtual machines, SQL databases, storage accounts, other Azure services. RBAC allows you to control what users can do with resources and in which scopes they can perform these actions. Access rights assignment methods. Microsoft Entra ID offers three primary methods for assigning access rights. 1. Direct assignment assigns access rights directly to individual users. Most straightforward approach. Best for one-off situations, can become difficult to manage at scale. 2. Group assignment assigns access rights to a group. Members inherit the group's permissions. More efficient for managing multiple users. Easier to maintain and update. Provides better oversight of access rights. Uchosawa 3-rule-based assignment uses dynamic rules to determine group membership. Based on user or device properties, automatically updates group membership. Rules can be simple, using pre-written rules, advanced, using custom rule syntax. Membership is validated against rules. Users or devices are removed if they no longer meet the criteria. Benefits of group-based access management. Simplified administration. Manage access rights for multiple users at once. Reduce administrative overhead. Minimize human error. Consistent access control. Ensure all users in similar roles have identical access. Maintain standardization across the organization. Easier to audit and review. 3. Dynamic updates. Automatically add or remove users based on rules. Respond to organizational changes without manual intervention. Maintain security by ensuring timely access removal. 4. Scalability. Easily manage access as organization grows. Apply changes across many users simultaneously. Reduce administrative burden. Best practices. Use groups instead of individual assignments. Makes access management more efficient, easier to audit and maintain. Reduces administrative overhead. 2. Implement proper naming conventions. Clear and consistent group names. Include purpose or scope in name. Exercise. Assigning users to Microsoft Entra groups. This exercise guides you through creating and managing a Microsoft Entra group for your developer team. You'll learn how to create a group, add members directly, and experiment with dynamic membership rules. Prerequisites access to Azure. Portal completed prior exercises in the module Microsoft. Entra ID P1 or P2 license for dynamic group features optional. Part 1. Creating a new group. Access Microsoft Entra ID. Sign in to the Azure portal. Navigate to your Microsoft Entra ID instance. Select Groups under the Manage section. Create the developer group. Click New Group in the top menu. Configure the following settings. Group type, security group name, developer group description, developer team. Click Create. Refresh the page to see your new group. Part 2. Direct user assignment. Access group members. Select the developer group. Navigate to Members under Manage. Click Add Members, Add User. Search for Chris Green. Select the checkbox next to the user. Click Select Refresh to verify the user appears in the Direct Members list. Part 3. Implementing Dynamic Assignment. Note, this section requires Microsoft Entra ID P1 or P2 license. Configure dynamic membership. Go to Properties under Manage Change. Membership Type to Dynamic User. Select Add Dynamic Query. Set up Dynamic Rule. In the Dynamic Membership Rules pane, Property, Country, Operator equals Value, United States. Select another field to enable save. Click Save. Part 4. Reverting to assigned membership. Return to static assignment. Go back to Properties. Change membership type to Assigned. Click Save. Important notes. Group creation. Security groups are used for managing access to resources. Group names should be clear and descriptive. Description helps others understand the group's purpose. Direct assignment. Useful for small teams or specific individuals. Provides immediate access. Requires manual management, dynamic assignment. Automates membership based on user attributes. Reduces administrative overhead. Requires appropriate licensing rules can be based on various user properties. Best practices. Review group membership regularly. Document group, purpose and rules. Use consistent naming conventions. Consider access requirements before creating groups. In today's rapidly evolving business landscape, collaboration with external partners has become increasingly crucial. Microsoft Entra B2B emerges as a groundbreaking solution that revolutionizes how organizations manage external collaboration. This powerful platform addresses the complex challenges of secure partner access while significantly reducing administrative overhead. The foundation of Microsoft Entra B2B rests on a simple yet powerful principle, enabling external users to maintain their existing identities while collaborating with your organization. This approach marks a significant departure from traditional methods where organizations had to create and manage separate accounts for each external collaborator. By leveraging B2B capabilities, organizations can now streamline their collaboration processes while maintaining robust security controls. Consider the practical implications of this approach. When external partners need access to your resources, they don't need to remember additional credentials or navigate complex authentication processes. Instead, they use their existing organizational or personal credentials, making the collaboration process seamless and user-friendly. The guest user access functionality within Microsoft Entra B2B provides unprecedented flexibility in managing external collaboration. Organizations can easily invite external users, assign specific permissions based on their roles, and maintain granular control over access levels. This level of control ensures that external collaborators can access exactly what they need while protecting sensitive organizational resources. Security remains paramount in this framework. Each guest user's access is carefully monitored and can be adjusted or revoked as needed. This dynamic access management ensures that collaboration remains secure throughout the entire project lifecycle. Organizations can confidently grant access to external partners, knowing they maintain full control over their resources. Furthermore, the system's ability to integrate with various identity providers means that partners can use their existing authentication methods, whether they're using Microsoft accounts, Google accounts, or other identity providers. This flexibility ensures that B2B collaboration can work seamlessly across different organizational boundaries and technical infrastructures. One of the most significant advantages of Microsoft Entra B2B is its impact on administrative efficiency. Traditional approaches to external collaboration often required IT departments to manage multiple external accounts, handle password resets, and maintain separate user directories. With B2B, these administrative burdens are significantly reduced as partner organizations maintain responsibility for their own user accounts. The platform also provides comprehensive audit capabilities, allowing organizations to track and monitor external user activities effectively. When implementing Microsoft Entra B2B collaboration, understanding the process of adding and managing guest users is crucial. The Azure portal provides a streamlined interface for handling these tasks, making it straightforward to establish secure external collaboration. The process begins at the organization level, where we can invite external users directly through Microsoft Entra ID. This fundamental step creates the guest user account within our directory, marking the beginning of our collaboration journey. The system automatically assigns the guest user type to these accounts, distinguishing them from regular organizational users. Moving beyond basic access, we can enhance collaboration by incorporating guest users into specific groups. This group-based approach allows for more efficient access management and helps maintain organizational structure. Rather than managing permissions individually, we can leverage group memberships to control access to various resources. Application access represents the next layer of guest user management. Through enterprise applications, we can grant specific roles and permissions to external users, ensuring they have the right level of access to the tools and resources they need. This granular control helps maintain security while enabling productive collaboration. Let's walk through the step-by-step process of adding guest users to your Microsoft Entra ID environment. This process is designed to be straightforward while maintaining security and proper documentation. First, access the Azure portal and locate Microsoft Entra ID under Azure Services. This is your starting point for all identity and access management tasks. The interface provides a clear overview of your organization's identity environment. Once in Microsoft Entra ID, navigate to the Users section under the Manage category in the left navigation menu. This brings you to the All Users pane, where you can view and manage all user accounts in your organization. The interface clearly displays existing users and their current status. The next step is initiating the guest invitation process. Look for the New User button in the top menu bar, then select Invite External User from the drop-down menu. This option is specifically designed for adding external collaborators to your organization. When adding the guest user, you'll need to provide two essential pieces of information: a display name that will identify them in your directory and their email address. The email address is crucial, as it will be used to send the invitation and serve as their login identifier. Finally, review the information you've entered and click the Invite button. The system will automatically generate and send an invitation email to the specified address. To verify the process, check the All Users list. The new guest user should appear with guest as their user type. Remember to refresh the page if you don't see them immediately. When adding guest users, there are several important considerations to keep in mind. The email address you provide must be active and accessible to the guest user, as this is how they'll receive their invitation. Make sure to double-check the email address for accuracy. The display name you choose should follow your organization's naming conventions and clearly identify the guest user's role or affiliation. This helps maintain clarity in your directory and makes it easier to manage guest access over time. It's worth noting that guest users initially have limited permissions by default. You'll need to explicitly grant them access to specific resources, groups, or applications based on their collaboration needs. This follows the principle of least privilege, ensuring security while enabling productivity. Remember that you can always resend invitations if needed. If a guest user reports not receiving the invitation, or if the initial invitation expires, you can easily generate a new one from the user's profile page. This flexibility ensures that technical issues don't impede collaboration. Azure Role-Based Access Control, or Azure RBAC, represents a fundamental shift in how organizations manage access to cloud resources. This sophisticated authorization system is built on Azure Resource Manager, providing organizations with the precise control they need over their Azure environment. At its core, Azure RBAC addresses two critical challenges that organizations face when moving to the cloud. First, it ensures that access management aligns with organizational changes. When employees leave, their access to cloud resources is automatically revoked. Second, it strikes the perfect balance between giving teams the autonomy they need while maintaining centralized control over critical infrastructure. The foundation of this system lies in the integration between Azure subscriptions and Microsoft Entra ID. Every Azure subscription is linked to a single Microsoft Entra directory, creating a unified identity management system. This integration means that all users, groups, and applications within that directory can be granted specific permissions to Manage resources within the subscription. The implementation of Azure RBAC becomes particularly powerful when combined with Microsoft Entra Connect. This tool extends your on-premises Active Directory to the cloud, bridge between your existing identity infrastructure and Azure. When an employee's Active Directory account is disabled on premises, they automatically lose access to all connected Azure subscriptions, ensuring security and compliance. Let's look at a practical example. In a typical organization, you might have different teams managing different aspects of your cloud infrastructure. With Azure RBAC, you can grant one team permission to manage virtual machines while another team manages SQL databases, all within the same subscription. This granular control ensures that teams have exactly the access they need to do their jobs effectively. The beauty of Azure RBAC lies in its flexibility. You can assign roles at different scopes, from broad subscription-level access down to specific resource instances. This hierarchical approach to access management allows organizations to implement the principle of least privilege effectively while maintaining operational efficiency. When implementing Azure RBAC, it's crucial to consider your organization's security and operational requirements. Start by mapping out your organization's roles and responsibilities. What resources do different teams need to access? What level of control should they have? These questions will guide your role assignments. Remember that Azure RBAC follows an inheritance model. Permissions assigned at a higher scope, like a subscription, flow down to all resources within that scope. However, you can also assign more specific roles at lower scopes to override or supplement these inherited permissions. Role-based access control, commonly known as RBAC, serves as the cornerstone of security in Azure Resource Management. When we talk about protecting critical cloud resources like virtual machines, websites, networks, and storage, RBAC provides the perfect balance between security and accessibility. Think of RBAC as your organization's security gatekeeper. It's an authorization system that answers three fundamental questions. Who can access our resources? What can they do with them? And where exactly do these permissions apply? This three-dimensional approach to access control ensures comprehensive security while maintaining operational flexibility. What makes RBAC particularly powerful is its ability to manage access not just for people, but also for applications and services. This means you can secure both human and automated interactions with your Azure resources using the same consistent framework. Whether you're granting access to employees, partners, or automated processes, RBAC provides the tools to do it securely and efficiently. Let's break down the three essential elements that make up an RBAC role assignment. Think of these as the building blocks of your access control strategy: the who, the what, and the where. First, the who. This is your security principle. Don't let the technical term intimidate you. It's simply the entity that needs access. This could be a user in your organization, a group of users, or even an application. Remember, in modern cloud environments, applications often need to interact with other resources, making them security principles in their own right. Next, we have the what, the role definition. This is your collection of permissions, often simply called a role. Think of it as a job description that lists exactly what actions can be performed. Azure provides several built-in roles like owner, contributor, or reader, but you can also create custom roles to match your specific needs. Finally, there's the where, the scope. This defines the boundaries of access, and it's more flexible than you might think. You can set scope at various levels, from broad, like an entire management group or subscription, to narrow, like a specific resource group or individual resource. What's particularly powerful is that permissions inherit down through these levels, allowing for both broad and granular control. Implementing RBAC might sound complex, but it's actually quite straightforward. The process comes down to creating role assignments by combining these three elements. You can do this through various methods. The Azure portal provides a user-friendly interface, while Azure PowerShell offers automation capabilities for more complex scenarios. When implementing RBAC, start by mapping out your organization's needs. Who needs access to what resources? What level of access do they need? Where should this access apply? This planning phase is crucial for creating an effective access control strategy. Azure RBAC implements a sophisticated hierarchy of access control that provides both flexibility and security. Understanding this hierarchy is crucial for effective access management in your Azure environment. At the top of the hierarchy sits the management group level, which allows you to organize multiple subscriptions under a single administrative unit. This is particularly useful for organizations managing multiple subscriptions with consistent access policies. Moving down, we have the subscription level, which serves as both a billing boundary and a primary access management container. Each subscription is associated with exactly one Microsoft Entra tenant, creating a clear line of authority for identity management. Within subscriptions, resource groups act as logical containers for related resources. A key point to remember is that while a resource group can contain multiple resources, it can only belong to one subscription. This one-to-many relationship helps maintain clear organizational boundaries. The power of Azure RBAC lies in its inheritance model. When you assign a role at a particular scope, that access automatically flows down to all contained resources. For example, if you grant someone contributor access at the subscription level, they can manage all resource groups and resources within that subscription. This inheritance model provides efficient access management while maintaining security. You can grant broad access at higher levels for general administrators, while implementing more specific restrictions at lower levels for specialized teams or applications. Consider a practical scenario. You might have a development team that needs full access to their specific resource group, but shouldn't have access to production resources. With RBAC, you can easily grant contributor access at the resource group level without affecting other parts of your Azure environment. The Access Control IAM pane in the Azure portal serves as your central hub for managing RBAC assignments. This interface appears consistently across different scopes, from management groups down to individual resources, making it easy to implement and manage access control. Let's look at some common implementation scenarios. For development teams, you might grant one team permission to manage virtual machines while another team handles virtual networks. This separation of duties enhances security without compromising productivity. Database administrators often need broad access to SQL resources but don't need to manage other services. RBAC allows you to grant a DBA group specific permissions across all SQL databases in a subscription while restricting access to other resource types. Applications, just like users, can be granted specific access through RBAC. This is particularly useful in automated deployment scenarios where applications need to manage certain resources programmatically. Remember, the goal is to grant just enough access for users and applications to perform their required tasks. No more, no less. Regular review of access assignments helps maintain this principle of least privilege. Azure Role-Based Access Control operates through the careful orchestration of three essential elements: the security principle, the role definition, and the scope. Understanding how these elements work together is crucial for implementing effective access control in your Azure environment. Think of these elements as answering three fundamental questions. Who needs access? What should they be able to do? And where should they be able to do it? This straightforward approach makes RBAC both powerful and manageable, even in complex environments. When you create a role assignment in Azure, you're essentially combining these three elements to create a clear, enforceable access policy. Let's examine each element in detail to understand how they work together to provide secure, granular access control. The security principle Our who represents any entity that requires access to Azure resources. While this might sound technical, it's simply identifying who or what needs access. This could be a user in your organization, a group of users for easier management, or even an application that needs to interact with other Azure resources. The role definition, our what, defines exactly what actions the security principal can perform. Azure provides several built-in roles to cover common scenarios. The owner role, for instance, provides complete control, including the ability to delegate access to others. The contributor role offers similar management capabilities, but without the ability to grant access to others. A key point about role definitions is their flexibility. While Azure's built-in roles cover most common scenarios, you can also create custom roles when you need more specific permission combinations. This allows you to follow the principle of least privilege by granting exactly the permissions needed, no more, no less. The scope, our where, defines the boundaries of the access being granted. Azure's scope hierarchy provides incredible flexibility in how you apply access controls. You can grant access at various levels, from broad, management group or subscription, to specific, individual resources. One of the most powerful features of scope in Azure Arbor Key is inheritance. When you grant access at a parent scope, that access automatically flows down to all child resources. For example, if you grant someone contributor access at a resource group level, they'll have contributor access to all resources within that group. However, inheritance doesn't mean you lose granular control. You can still assign more restrictive roles at lower levels, or grant additional permissions for specific resources. This combination of inheritance and granular control allows you to implement both broad and specific access policies effectively. Role assignment in Azure RBAC represents the culmination of our three core elements: the security principle, role definition, and scope. It's the process that brings these elements together to create effective access control. Let's look at a practical example. When assigning the contributor role to the marketing group for the sales resource group, we're creating a clear, enforceable access policy. The marketing group, WHO, receives contributor permissions, what, specifically for the sales resource group, where. This process is both flexible and precise. You can create role assignments at any scope level, and you can create multiple role assignments for the same security principle. This allows you to build exactly the access model your organization needs, piece by piece. Remember that role assignments work both ways. They're used to grant access when created and revoke access when removed. This makes managing access rights a dynamic process that can evolve with your organization's needs. Azure RBAC operates on an allow model, which is crucial to understand for effective access management. In this model, permissions are additive, meaning if you have multiple role assignments, you get the combined permissions of all those roles. The allow model works by calculating effective permissions through a simple formula. Actions minus not actions equals allowed operations. This calculation determines exactly what operations a security principal can perform at a given scope. Let's look at the contributor role as an example. It starts with a wildcard, in actions, indicating all operations are potentially allowed. However, the not actions list specifically excludes certain operations, such as managing roles and role assignments, or working with blueprint artifacts. The result is a role that can manage all resources but can't control access or manage blueprints. In practice, the allow model provides great flexibility. For instance, if a user has a role assignment granting read permissions to a resource group and another assignment granting write permissions to the same scope, they effectively have both read and write permissions. Understanding not actions is crucial for security planning. While not actions helps define exceptions to broad permissions, it's important to remember that not actions is not the same as a deny rule. If another role assignment explicitly grants a permission, that permission will be allowed, even if it's in a not actions list elsewhere. When implementing role assignments, always consider the cumulative effect of multiple assignments. The additive nature of permissions means you should regularly review role assignments to ensure they align with your security requirements and the principle of least privilege. Time for knowledge check. Let's examine why the first answer is correct. A role definition is fundamentally a collection of permissions that has been given a name and can be assigned to various security principles, users, groups, or applications. Think of a role definition as a job description. It outlines exactly what actions can be performed. Just as a job description might list responsibilities like manage team schedules or approve expenses, a role definition lists permissions like read storage accounts or create virtual machines. The other options describe different RBAC concepts. The collection of users, groups, or applications describes security principles, not role definitions. The binding of a role to a security principle describes a role assignment, which is the combination of who, what, and where. For the second question, understanding the built-in role's capabilities is crucial. The contributor role is the correct answer because it precisely matches the administrator's requirements, allowing resource management while preventing access delegation. Let's break down why the other options don't fit. Owner, too permissive as it includes the ability to delegate access. Reader, too restrictive as it only allows viewing resources. User access administrator, focuses on access management rather than resource management. The contributor role provides the perfect balance. Full resource management capabilities without the ability to manage access rights. This aligns with the principle of least privilege, while ensuring users can perform their required tasks. The third question addresses the hierarchical structure of Azure's scope levels. The correct order, management group, subscription, resource group, resource, reflects how Azure organizes resources and how permissions inherit down through these levels. This hierarchy is crucial to understand because management groups sit at the top, allowing organization-wide policies. Subscriptions provide the first level of resource segregation. Resource groups organize related resources. Individual resources represent the most granular level of control. Understanding this hierarchy helps in planning access control strategies, as permissions granted at higher levels automatically flow down to lower levels unless explicitly overridden. This inheritance model makes it efficient to manage access across large organizations while maintaining the ability for granular control when needed. Self-Service Password Reset, or SSPR, represents a significant advancement in how organizations manage user access and authentication. This feature addresses one of the most common and time-consuming IT support issues: password resets. In the traditional IT support model, password resets create a bottleneck. Users who forget their passwords or need to change expired ones must wait for help desk assistance, leading to lost productivity and frustrated employees. SSPR transforms this process by empowering users to manage their own password resets securely and efficiently. The beauty of SSPR lies in its comprehensive coverage. It works across the entire Microsoft Entra ID ecosystem, meaning users can reset their passwords for Azure, Microsoft 365, and any other applications that use Microsoft Entra ID for authentication. This unified approach ensures a consistent experience, regardless of which service the user needs to access. The SSPR process is designed to be both secure and user-friendly, following a clear 5-step workflow. Let's walk through each step. First, the localization step ensures users see the reset portal in their preferred language, based on their browser settings. This immediate familiarity helps reduce user anxiety during the password reset process. The verification step combines username entry with captcha completion, providing a basic security layer that prevents automated attacks while remaining simple for legitimate users to complete. Authentication represents the critical security component. Users must prove their identity through one or more methods, such as entering a code sent to their phone or email, or answering predetermined security questions. This multi-factor approach ensures that only legitimate users can reset their passwords. Once authenticated, users create their new password, following any organizational complexity requirements. The system typically enforces password policies to ensure strong passwords are created. Finally, the notification step keeps users informed and provides an audit trail. If someone unauthorized attempts to reset a password, the legitimate user will be notified and can take appropriate action. Implementing SSPR brings multiple benefits to both organizations and users. For organizations, it significantly reduces help desk costs by eliminating routine password reset tickets. This allows IT staff to focus on more complex and valuable tasks. For users, the benefits are immediate and tangible. No more waiting for help desk availability or dealing with time zone differences when working globally. Users can resolve password issues instantly 24/7 from any location with internet access. The customization options, such as adding company branding, help create a trusted environment for password resets. Users feel more confident when they see familiar organizational branding, reducing the risk of phishing attacks through fake password reset portals. Remember that SSPR is not just about convenience. It's a critical component of a modern identity management strategy that balances security with user experience. Authentication methods in SSPR form the cornerstone of secure password reset. Each method offers different levels of security and convenience, and understanding these differences is crucial for proper implementation. The mobile app methods using Microsoft Authenticator represent the gold standard in SSPR authentication. Whether using push notifications or verification codes, these methods provide strong security through a dedicated authentication app. The app-based approach eliminates many vulnerabilities associated with other methods. Email and office phone verification serve as reliable secondary options. While not as secure as the mobile app, they provide familiar and accessible alternatives for users without smartphones or in
situations where the primary method isn't available.
When implementing SSPR, it's crucial to understand the security implications of each authentication method. The mobile phone SMS method, while convenient, presents significant security risks due to the possibility of SMS interception and spoofing. This is why it's not recommended as a primary authentication method. Security questions represent the least secure option. While they might seem convenient, answers can be researched or guessed by malicious actors. When used, they should always be combined with at least one other authentication method and should use questions with answers that aren't easily discoverable. Administrator accounts require special consideration. Due to their elevated privileges, these accounts always require two-method authentication, regardless of general SSPR settings. Additionally, the security question method is completely unavailable for administrator accounts to maintain a higher security standard. Successful SSPR implementation requires careful planning and adherence to best practices. Always enable at least two authentication methods to provide backup options when one method fails. The mobile app should be your primary recommended method, complemented by email or office phone as backup options. Consider your user base when selecting methods. While the mobile app provides the best security, ensure alternative methods are available for users who might not have smartphones or work in environments where mobile devices aren't permitted. Regular review and updates of authentication methods ensure they remain effective and secure. Monitor usage patterns and user feedback to refine your SSPR implementation over time. Remember that security and user experience must be balanced. Too many authentication requirements can lead to user frustration, while too few can compromise security. SSPR notifications serve as a critical security feature, providing transparency and alerting users to potential unauthorized access attempts. The system offers two distinct notification types, each serving specific security purposes. User reset notifications act as an early warning system. When a password is reset, notifications are sent to both primary and secondary email addresses. This dual notification ensures that legitimate users are immediately aware of any changes to their account access, allowing them to quickly respond to unauthorized changes. Administrator reset notifications provide an additional layer of security oversight. When any administrator resets their password, all other administrators are notified. This collective awareness helps maintain security in privileged accounts and creates an informal audit trail of administrative password changes. Microsoft Entra ID offers 3 distinct licensing tiers, each with different SSPR capabilities. Understanding these differences is crucial for planning your implementation. The free tier provides basic password change functionality for signed-in users. This basic feature meets simple password management needs, but doesn't include self-service reset capabilities for forgotten passwords. Premium P1 and P2 editions unlock the full potential of SSPR, including forgotten password reset and password write-back capabilities. These features are also available with Microsoft 365 apps for business, providing flexibility in licensing options. A key consideration for hybrid environments is password write-back functionality, which requires at least Premium P1. This feature ensures that password changes in the cloud are properly synchronized with on-premises Active Directory, maintaining consistency across your environment. Organizations have 2 primary options for deploying SSPR with password write-back: Microsoft Entra Connect and Cloud Sync. Each option has its strengths and can be used independently or together, depending on your needs. Microsoft Entra Connect represents the traditional deployment approach, ideal for organizations with a single, stable, Active Directory environment. It provides reliable synchronization but operates as a single instance. Cloud Sync offers enhanced flexibility and availability. It's particularly valuable in complex scenarios, such as company mergers or split domains. The ability to run multiple instances provides higher availability and better supports distributed environments. Organizations can implement both options simultaneously, using Microsoft Entra Connect for existing domains while leveraging Cloud Sync for new or acquired domains. This hybrid approach provides maximum flexibility in managing diverse organizational structures. Time for knowledge check. Question 1. When is a user considered registered for SSPR? Correct answer: B. They registered at least the number of methods that you've required to reset a password. Explanation: users must register the minimum number of authentication methods specified in your SSPR configuration. Simply registering one method isn't sufficient if multiple methods are required. Security questions alone don't determine SSPR registration status. They're just one possible authentication method. Question 2. When you enable SSPR for your Microsoft Entra organization, correct answer: C. Users can reset their passwords when they can't sign in. Explanation: SSPR's primary purpose is to allow password resets without requiring sign-in. Administrator accounts always require 2 authentication methods, making option B incorrect. Option A is incorrect because SSPR specifically enables password resets when users cannot sign in. Key points to remember: SSPR registration requires meeting the minimum authentication method requirements set by administrators. 2. The feature specifically addresses the need to reset passwords when users cannot access their accounts. 3. Different rules apply to administrator accounts, which always require stronger authentication. Let's analyze these questions to understand the core concepts they're testing. The first question focuses on SSPR registration requirements, which is fundamental to implementing the service effectively. It's important to note that registration isn't just about having any authentication method set up. It's about meeting the specific requirements established by your organization. For example, if your organization requires 2 authentication methods, a user who has only registered one method isn't considered fully registered for SSPR, even if that one method is highly secure. This requirement ensures redundancy in authentication options, which is crucial when users need to reset their passwords. The second question addresses a common misconception about SSPR functionality. The key benefit of SSPR is precisely that it works when users cannot sign in. Otherwise, it would defeat its primary purpose. This is what distinguishes it from the basic password change feature available to signed-in users. These questions help reinforce important distinctions in SSPR implementation. The difference between registration and actual usage, the importance of meeting minimum authentication requirements, the critical functionality of password reset without sign-in, special considerations for administrator accounts. Before implementing SSPR, it's crucial to ensure all prerequisites are in place. This preparation phase is essential for a smooth deployment process. First, verify your Microsoft Entra organization has the appropriate licensing. While basic password change functionality is available in the free tier, SSPR features require premium P1 or P2 licensing, or equivalent Microsoft 365 licensing. The implementation requires 2 types of accounts, a global administrator account for configuration and a non-administrative test account. The separation between these accounts is crucial. Administrator accounts have additional SSPR requirements that could complicate initial testing. The security group requirement enables a controlled phased rollout approach. This approach allows you to test SSPR with a small group before expanding to the entire organization, minimizing potential impact and allowing for process refinement. The SSPR configuration process follows a logical sequence, starting with basic enablement and progressing through authentication. Setup to user experience customization. Begin in the Azure portal's Microsoft Entra ID section, specifically in the password reset area. The Properties section is where you'll make the fundamental choice about SSPR scope. For initial deployment, choose Selected and specify your test security group. Authentication method. Configuration is critical. Consider your organization's security requirements when deciding between 1 or 2 required methods. The authentication methods you enable should balance security with user accessibility. Registration settings determine how users onboard to SSPR. Consider whether to require registration at next sign-in and how often users should reconfirm their authentication information. These decisions impact both security and user experience. Finally, configure notifications and support options. Notifications provide security awareness, while support contact information helps users who encounter difficulties during the password reset process. The recommended approach for SSPR implementation is a phased rollout, starting with a small group, such as the marketing department in this case, allows you to 1. Verify the configuration works as intended. Gather user feedback on the process. 3. Identify and address any issues before broader deployment. 4. Refine support procedures and documentation. Monitor the initial deployment closely, paying attention to user registration completion rates. Successfully completed password resets. Support ticket volumes related to password resets. User feedback on the process. Once the pilot group has successfully used SSPR and any issues have been addressed, you can confidently expand the deployment to the entire organization by changing the scope from selected to all. This hands-on exercise guides you through the complete SSPR setup process, from creating a test environment to verifying functionality. Let's break down each phase and its importance. Phase 1 establishes your Microsoft Entra organization. Pay special attention to the domain name you choose, as you'll need it throughout the exercise. Remember to note down this domain name for future reference. Phase 2 activates the necessary licensing. The P2 trial enables all SSPR features needed for testing. You might need to refresh the portal several times after activation before all features appear. Phase 3 creates your test environment with a security group and test user. This controlled environment allows you to verify SSPR functionality before broader deployment. Following the principle of least privilege, we create a non-administrator test account. Phases 4 to 6 cover the actual implementation and testing of SSPR. During configuration, carefully follow each step to ensure proper setup. When enabling SSPR, selecting the selected option with your SSPR testers group provides a controlled rollout environment. This approach lets you verify functionality with a small group before organization-wide deployment. The registration process requires a mobile phone for verification. Ensure you have access to a phone that can receive SMS messages. When testing, use private incognito browser mode if you encounter any issues with feature availability. Testing should verify the complete password reset flow from initial request through verification to password change. This end-to-end test confirms that all components are working correctly. Key points to remember. Save all passwords and domain names. Document each configuration step. Test using a non-administrator account. Verify all notifications are received. Directory branding serves as a crucial visual confirmation for users that they're accessing legitimate organizational resources. The requirements for image assets are specific and must be followed precisely to ensure optimal display and performance. The background image at 1920 x 1080 pixels provides a professional backdrop for the sign-in experience. The 300 KB size limit ensures fast page loading while maintaining image quality. Choose an image that won't interfere with text readability. The company logo at 32 x 32 pixels must be carefully designed to remain recognizable at this small size. The 5 KB size limit requires efficient image compression while maintaining clarity. Consider using your organization's favicon design for consistency across platforms. When implementing branding, test with different screen sizes to ensure responsive behavior. Verify branding appears on all relevant pages, sign-in, password reset, etc. Ensure text remains readable against the background image. Check load times on different connection speeds. The implementation process follows a straightforward path through the Azure portal. Begin by ensuring you're in the correct Microsoft Entra organization. This is particularly important if you manage multiple directories. During asset upload, preview each element to verify appearance. The background color selection should complement your background image and maintain sufficient contrast for text elements. Consider your organization's brand guidelines when making these choices. Testing is crucial and should be comprehensive. 1. Verify branding appears correctly on the main sign-in page. 2. Check visibility and scaling on different devices. 3. Ensure branding persists through the password reset flow. Test with multiple browsers to ensure consistent appearance. Remember that branding changes may take some time to propagate through the system. If changes aren't immediately visible, wait a few minutes and clear your browser cache before retesting.